Hello, darkness, my old friend. I have come to see you again. Not really. Okay. Moving shit, moving shit, moving shit all around. Bum, 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 bum. Hey, 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 hey. I didn't get a notification last time. Yeah, because YouTube does that. Hold up. There we go. Makes the screen look a little better. There we go. Cool. There we go. That works. That does not work. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Nope. Wrong utensil. Yeah. But YouTube likes to not notify people. That happens. So I was just kind of left by myself to just kind of belligerently rant to a phone instead of at least having some form of communication with someone. So that was always fun. That's fun. So yeah, but Mr. John Jonington did show up for a little bit. So it wasn't like, it was just like me 30 minutes or whatever, just doing nothing. Like, if it was literally 30 minutes and no one was showing up, I would have just been like, alright, well, this obviously is probably not the best time of night to do so, but someone came up, so I was able to keep the conversation going. But
you talk to brick wall if you would listen.
I know, right? I mean, I'm always... Instead of a brick wall, it's just a screen. It's a screen wall. I talk to the screen, the mighty screen. The box hears everything I say and it takes it all in. While slowly I just go insane. Also, I got butane, so I got my torch finally working again, so I don't have to, like, take these, like, shit hits. Like, I've been, like, going through, like, this weird, unfortunate moment of, like, taking bull hits, where I'll try to take it, but, like, it wouldn't get a strong enough pull to, like, light up, so a torch is always good whenever you just need that type of shit going down, you know what I mean?
Switching insurance is an important decision. You can never know too much about it. So Portland, contact Geico online over the all the information you really need.
You can save 50% or more on your car insurance. You can save 50% or more on your car insurance.
Yes.
I love Geico because it was a Geico commercial. The lizard telling you should get you some car insurance because you get 15% or more off that. Anyway, I called this stream Cluster because got this like mead from Nectar Creek. So thought I was after work. I'm like, I'm just like, bleh. So I felt like just get one of these little guys and try it out. It's not too bad though. It's really good. Tomorrow is also Stefan's last day in Portland before he goes back to Montana.
Wow.
Yeah, so him and me, Stefan, and Logan might all just kick it for a little bit at the Wichita Pub tomorrow too. Yeah, so that'll be a fun little night. I might, depending on when we all leave, I might do a stream after that. But if we leave late, then I'm not going to try to give a shit. I'm just not. So, I mean, but if I end up, if it ends up being like midnight when I get off and we get back or whatever and kick it and shit, then that'll be like one thing. But if it's like 1:30 after final call and it's just like, tired, house is like 5-minute bike right away, not even that, it's like maybe 3 minutes. Did you bully people in school, Ignore? You know, to be honest, I think I did. I honestly probably had my fair share of bullying, but it was mainly because I was bullied. It was mainly like I was just going down. I was pretty much taking the bully chain down the ladder, essentially. Like it was mainly in middle school when I was in this little phase of bully other kids. Like it wasn't necessarily like, you know, the same shit I got, because I was, you know, like the bullying I got was pretty fucking awful. Like I was like it was actually straight up physical bullying, and like I got spit in the face once too, and just it was fucking awful. This was like all in middle school too. But what I did was just basically all I did was just I think just push people around, push like this one kid around by just ridiculing him a lot, because he was a little, you know, he wasn't like special ed, but he was more slower, you know, and you know he was part of the classes that we've all had that, you know, do extra development essentially, and I was part of it too, which is one of the reasons of the bullying issue, because oh, you're slower, so you're a faggot. You know, it's like that type of shit in middle school, because the big word everyone loved to use against people was faggot at the time. It kind of is still, I'm pretty sure, but I mean, I don't know what the big word everyone uses in middle school and high school now, but faggot was the big one for, at least for middle school, so, you know, that was the one thing. Were you a doze? Was I a doze? Evidently that was a fuck up, because he retracted that shit, but, I did remember were you a sped? A sped. No? I mean, I was fairly reclusive, but I mean, I'm autistic, but that's about it. I don't know about sped on mobile autocorrect. Well, it's okay. Funny, autocorrect doesn't correct what you're actually trying to say. Doctor. Retract. Yeah, it doesn't look like your autocorrect likes you. I still special ed. Ah, okay. Not like no, I wasn't, but there was like this. It was kind of like this class for people who were like had like social disorders, who were like either severe ADHD, like severe bipolar, or you know autistic like me, but more severe. And this was when where my counselor was still recommending it to me. After high school, once I got into high school, I didn't have these classes anymore. I was just like anyone else by that point, just a little bit more reclusive essentially. So I was, you know, at that time I wasn't like special ed, but I mean it was like an in-between, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, because I wasn't in like a class with kids with Down syndrome and shit. Like I wasn't like that low. Like, I mean, it was like, I think I was like once in elementary school, but they realized that I am way more superior than these kids. I don't need to be this low, so they got me way higher up and realized where my sweet spot was, and you know, eventually just kind of went from there. And eventually, they just didn't see the necessity to continue doing so, so they just kind of left me on my own. And you know, I think it definitely made me, you know, a probably more sociable person. Fat kid master race, damn straight. Fat kid master race. I'm mentally a fat kid. I can get away with it. I didn't have any retarded kids though. Yeah, like I was the same way. Like my classes didn't have any like actual like retarded children or genuinely like slow or mentally deficient. Like we didn't have any of that. It was just, you know, the more social awkward kids. I mean, it's like the ones you can kind of obviously tell have, well, maybe a little something going on in the head or whatever. But I mean, it wasn't like bad or nothing. But it was just mainly, you know, social stigma of, you know, what's expected of children, you know, of what kids think of each other, you know, and they all have these social cliques. So, you know, I mean, just fuck middle school, honestly. I mean, it sucked. The teachers were great. I loved the teachers, and I liked being in the classes I was in. It was just the kids. I just, like, I couldn't handle being, you know, I was very socially, like, reclusive. Like, I didn't, like, hang out with anybody. Like, I fought all the time. I mean, you know, I had my fair share of fights, too. Actually, I think I almost got expelled for, like, honestly, yeah, I mean, no lie. Like, I'm going to be straight up with this, and I am not even kayfabing. I might have been a I could have been a potential like school stabber or some shit, dude. I'm not fucking around with that. I'm being serious. I was maladroit. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just autistic, but here, let me explain this whole potential like school stabbing thing. Like, so essentially for me, mentally, like this whole bullying thing went to a boiling point, and I started walking it was to the point where I was actually about to like try, call mom, because I was like, this is shit that I need to try to sort with, but and I was like, I straight up said this out loud in the middle of the office while I was on my phone with mom trying to, talk of this shit about, what's going on in my mind and what's going on at school. And I think this was verbatim. I think I said, if I get bullied like this again, and shit, I'm going to bring a knife to school and fucking kill these kids. And then I don't even think it was a second after I said that somebody, I don't even know who it was just somebody from the office just grabbed the phone from me, automatically hung up, and just stuck me in the principal's office for like, I don't even know how fucking long, maybe like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. And then they talked to me about it for a little bit and told me, it's like, okay, this is obviously serious, so what the fuck is going on? So I was just trying to say, these kids, like, I think it was like 3 or 4 of them who were ganging up on me at the time, are bringing me to a boiling point, and I mean it when I said that. So it was like, I think the last week of school too, and I was in 7th grade, and the last week they didn't expel me or suspend me because they didn't see a reason to by that point, considering how soon it was to the end of school. So what they did was they literally made me and check my bags and shit every morning when I came to school and escorted me, for the last week. And that was the only time they ever did it, was just that time. But, I think that was the closest I ever got to straight up, like, having, like, a potential, like, school stabbing situation going on. I mean, I'm glad it didn't happen, but, like, man, my life literally could have went a seriously different direction if that, if I fell through with that plan. I was thinking about it the whole day. I was like, I don't give a fuck if they're gonna check me. I'm just not gonna go. I'm gonna do it. It was in my head. Like, I was like convinced that, I'm gonna do it. But the next morning when I woke up, I just went to school like any other day and just totally forgot about it. And then when I realized, and then one of them pulled me aside. It's like, you're supposed to check in. And went, oh fuck, that's right. I was gonna whatever. Well, fuck it now. I don't care. So by that point, I just kind of didn't give a shit anymore. But like that whole day when I called up and shit about that, it was in my mind that I was gonna do it. But the next day, I just totally just left my mind, I guess, or was receded so far in that I just didn't give a shit enough. But yeah, that's a crazy little potential stabbing story that I have about a school. So yeah, and it was just literally because there wasn't. Oh shit! Stefan just sent me a hit up about unable to. Damn, he's leaving at 6. That sucks. He's leaving at 6 a.m. So, well, so far for going to the pub with him. Oh well. Almost knocked out a teacher. Damn. I actually remember this. I think it was like in 3rd grade. I was accused of tripping a teacher. It was weird. Like, I was, it's just a teacher and like some, one of the teacher assistants that helps out, the teachers at the elementary school and shit all the time with various different things, mainly tech. So I had my foot out and I stretched it out and I didn't notice them walking by, and one of them like thought I was trying to trip him and like accused me of trying to trip him and like sent me to the office for like attempting to. Dude, I was accused of so much bullshit that I never even did. Like, this is actually, I think, within the same grade, too. 3rd grade or 2nd grade. I had the same teacher for 2 straight years, so I don't know if it was one of these 2 grades. But I was drinking water out of the little water fountain. Like, every classroom had, like, its own little like a little water fountain in the sink. So I was drinking out of the water fountain, and someone was waiting their turn. And they thought I was like, just taking a gulp of water just to spit it back out in the sink for some reason. Told the teacher that I was doing that, which I wasn't. I was literally just drinking water, and the teacher literally made me fucking clean the whole sink out with Windex rags and everything. It was like, what the literal...
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was like... I mean, and then those... Actually, it was 2 kids waiting, and it was 2 girls, too. And actually, these 2 girls were the biggest fucking bitch cunts I've ever had to deal with throughout, like, my entire school life. Like, I mean, I had them from elementary, middle school, and high school, and every time I've ever had an interaction with them, they were total cunts. So, they've just always been like this, honestly. So, like, this is just, like, one of the moments where, you know, I was just like, you know, they just wanted to see me suffer a little bit, I guess. And I looked over when I was in the middle of cleaning, they were both smirking and just looking at me giggling. I'm like, you fucking... At the time, I'm a little kid, and I'm not thinking about how awful bitches they are.
Huh?
But, what?
Cultures, like you say, that don't even know the truth, aren't being taught the truth.
Who?
I hope so. I'm going to meet in bed.
I don't even know who. I got blamed for everyone's shit when I was young. Yeah. I don't, like, I feel like everyone does in some way, you know, or another, but, like, for me, I thought it was very exceptional, because I just pointed at, like, 3 random stories. 2 of them were in the same grade, or at least within the same teacher 2-year period, where, like, I was accused of just doing random shit. I mean, it was pretty ridiculous. I never was accused of doing anything in high school or anything like that. Like, most people chilled the fuck out after in high school. Like, most people just chilled. They just kind of figured out who their cliques were, who their friends were, just kind of stuck around with them for the most part. And, and whenever they found someone that had an interest, exploring shit. But, I mean, like, most people chilled around high school. I mean, not all the time, and not all people, but for the most part, everyone's kind of found their little clique and their little, niche, and they can kind of get in there. High school was Cold War. Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone's found their niche, and just because, it's a lot more chill, don't mean there's drama. It doesn't mean there's bullshit going on. Doesn't mean there's bullying going on. It's just a lot more covert. It's a lot more drama, a lot more back talk. It's a lot of talking behind your back. And because I was not as social, mainly due to a lot of the stigma from growing up in school, I tend to keep to myself, so I never really got delved into drama that much, so it was all pretty good. Elementary school was fucked for me. Yeah, like, I would say middle school was fucked for me, but, I would say 4th grade to 5th, onward to middle school was the worst. And then, freshman year was pretty terrible, but sophomore year onward, I would say was pretty good. Like, after that, things were good for me, I thought. I can tell that there was at least a positive outlook kind of coming out. Oh, middle school was also, yeah. For me, I will have to confirm that was the worst. It was stressful, emotionally, strenuous on me, psychologically, fucking on my mind, with the bullying especially. High school was the time of my life. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we met each other, we found Harley, we met, that's why I say, after sophomore year onward, things started looking up, and I actually started seeing some shit, that, is potential for myself and shit. And then, starting to meet people that actually gave a fuck and stuff, and, that I actually could connect with, and I know are, for real and shit. Tomat. Hello, everyone. Greetings, Mr. Joe. Greetings, good sir. It's kind of abusive to send us there, middle school. I mean, in a way. I mean, there's, you still gotta have, a standard for education and shit. You gotta make sure, youth gets educated, but, for me, what I've noticed is the lack of awareness to the social stress, which is what you're pointing out here, about, middle school and shit. And that was I think that was my main problem in middle school, is that I never had an outlet to kind of go out to talk about shit or whatever. And I'm not even necessarily saying like a public figure or whatever. I was like literally like, what, 11 or 10? Like, that concept isn't even in my reality and ballpark. But, to at least like have a counselor or some shit, I mean, that wasn't really like something I could just go snag, just randomly. And whenever I did it help? No. Like, it wasn't an actual, like, counselor I can meet on a regular basis. It was just, like, one of the school ones that has to help the rest of the fucking school. So are they going to give a fuck about me? Not really. Fucked up part is when you get ready for the real world. I think it's fucked in a good way. I mean, it would be if there was a lot of things that, or at least the classes that, like, for example, like with mathematics and shit, that did teach us, that was in the education, actually did prep you for the real world, like checking and balances and financial, and, learning about your financials and shit like that, and learn what a credit is, and, things like that, like learn how to budget yourself, and that's just, talking about it a little, just some basic mathematics. I mean, everyone's got to have to learn at least some of that. School doesn't prepare you for shit. Exactly. I'm not talking about the classes, so they should teach that. Yeah. I mean, I see what you're getting with on that point, for sure. I just, there just needs to be, like, this, I mean, there just definitely needs to be a reform in the education system where it looks out for people who need an outlet to branch out to, who need, like, a little extra stepping stone. Like, I would, for me at least, I can say that for middle school, for sure. In high school, we eventually did get one of those outlets, and you can actually go to that. So so I was able to have that resource. But for me, I would say it came in just in time. But for some people, I would say it came in a little too late. Like, we should have already had that resource, and it was just something that was in the middle of being constructed. So, and then once I became a junior year in high school, they finally finished the building. And for some people that I knew that were already leaving the school or were moving or some shit, probably a little too late for them because they probably could have needed that. But, I mean, there's, it's just that there needs to be prioritization on resources like that, for and there also needs to be prioritization on, we got into an argument with Metal T over the weekend, about this over the weekend. Oh, about, like, what they should teach in classes. Weren't you and Logan also having this debate too? I remember, I think it was after or before the Wichita Pub, when we went there the first night on my 21st. Yeah, I think this has been kind of a reoccurring thing, between all of us lately, huh? My high school just tried to get us in and out of their hair, literally no programs. That's fucked up. That is just fucked up. You wanna know what my high school had? Let me just go down the list here. We had a music program. We also had, about halfway through my high school, we eventually got a health and wellness center, which was counseling, and also, there you can also do, like, basic screens and, like, basic medical checkups as well. It can also, if you're feeling sick or whatever, you can do that. If you need birth control, you can do that. We had our own arts program. We had like a little art academy within our own school, Milwaukee Academy of the Arts, and this was district-wide within our county, the Sabin Schellenberg Center, which has a lot of hands-on work like culinary, radio, photography, forestry, firefighting, anything you can think of. And there's two different buildings that buses where you can take the buses from your schools, go to these two centers, and you got hands-on work you can learn. And also there's automobile shops and shit. I mean, that, I think we're the only county in the whole fucking country that has shit like this. And I know we are, at least for the state, but I think like something like a Sabin Schellenberg Center where multiple schools can go to essentially another school where you can take elective courses for high school students to do hands-on and career-type jobs. What fucking school has this? Like, I don't know. I literally, like, the one thing that this center proud themselves of is literally being the only center in the county, at least for the state, is literally being the only center like that in the whole state. And I feel awful. I don't feel awful. I just feel ashamed that that type of luxury, which should just be a resource, isn't available to every district and every, school district. That should just be available for just anyone. No electives at your school? What fucking school are you going to, dude? That's a problem. That is a fundamental problem. Like, that's what I'm talking about right there. No electives in your high school? Not even a middle school? That's a major problem. Like, where's the choice and the options and, looking at your own, interests and your hobbies. Like, some people are interested in automobile work, so that's why we have that program. If you want to take a class on how to work on cars, go do it. If you want to learn how to work with trees, go do it. If you want to learn how to cook, which I did, go do it. We had that center. We had that resource. We had I literally am, shocked that and appalled that something like that isn't available for every fucking school. Like, that should literally be a standard. Like, something like that should be a federal standard for all schools, where we should have a center where we can encourage career-type jobs like culinary and automobile work, forestry, firefighting, law enforcement. Shaman Schellenberg is the only one in the whole state. And so, I mean, it needs to be a resource for everybody. Alright, well, there's two of them there.
Like the high school, all the high schools.
Yeah, and then they sent him there. Yeah, I mean, like one of my viewers, he said in his high school, he didn't even have elective classes, let alone like a resource center to take. It's just like, that's a fundamental problem in like an education system. If you can't even have a choice into some classes, like if you want to take a music class or an art class on top of your standard curriculum that you have to take. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that, to me, that just seems like it would just, like, why shouldn't that be an option for just any student? Like, I mean, if they want to explore an option, like for me in culinary, I decided to take intro to culinary because I was curious about it, and I ended up fucking loving it, and realizing that, something that I love doing, and, I think cooking should just be something that people should learn, because if you're living by yourself, for example, and if you're making ramen all day, that ain't going to be the greatest thing you're going to be eating. I mean, you want to learn at least how to cook some decent meals, so I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how I do a lot of my cooking. Like, I learn about at least the basic fundamentals and, some recipes, but for the most part, I teach myself. A lot of the food I make now is just food I think in my head, Yeah, like, I'll buy, like, a fat hunk of meat, I'll check out a little thing of pasta, just mash it together, put it, like, in a can of sauce and put it together. Like, I mean, it's not that hard. When I went to school, we had electives, but when I worked in the school, they were eliminating them. I remember they closed woodshop and photography, even though it was popular. Like, for me, like, I was even reading Just Sports got all the money. Like, sports was prioritized in our school, so we had these other programs like art and shit, but it was really defunded. Like, our art teachers had to buy their own materials, so it's not like we had our problems too. I'm not saying because we had these programs that they were like we're the best and we're just like the best funded thing around. Like, no, we have funding problems here too. But at least we have options. I mean, at least there's an ability. But I mean, sports is definitely highly prioritized in our school, so it's not that that's not a problem. Like, I don't mind people going for sports and having that as a popular thing and put money in that. That's not a problem for me. But to just just exclusively just go for sports every time about their budgets, but not look at everyone else, that's a problem. Like, you need to look at the whole education system, and it just, I mean, that's why there needs to be a standard, so there's at least a standard.
I need you.
Oh, she needed me?
Yeah, what you need to do. Yep,
oh, okay. Okay. But, yes, sport department was king. Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, our music department, we had our, like, I literally was, like, it was like a weird point. I was like at a rise and a fall. Like, I was at the point where we had a really good thing going, and then my next year, we didn't even go to the Starlight Parade, which is like the whole Rose Festival parade thing that we have in Portland, and we get to march in the whole marching band, which it's fun. I love doing that. I'm a marching band geek, but I'm actually, I'll hold this thought actually, since I gotta go help, mama and shit, but I'll be right back. So hold your horses, laddies. Ready?
time since Clyde.
Where?
I think it's Braden, Greg Braden. He says the scene mirrors the road maps that you're on track, and tonight's show has just blown me away. I've been procrastinating. I said if I call at 1 o'clock and I get
That's my phone. I'll be back, guys.
the last person to say this, we're not going to have time for me to go over this, but we're starting. I told you a few times I called in that we study you, George, and Jimmy. And we've got quite a large group. We're not doing any good in the small numbers we've got. We're starting at discernment school. It's going to be a show after the show. And we're going to go over the things that you, Jimmy, George, and can't forget about John B. and others out there, that other listeners, we listen to podcasts, and I've got to take you into daytime. I'm going to do the daytime stuff. And then so that your information, and most importantly, those callers have value. We have a plan by which the callers on your show, and anyone that provides value, an education, and an increase in personal value, we're going to reciprocate.
Randy?
Social appreciation. Yes,
Randy,
yes,
where do people go to be part of this?
I'm going to shoot you an email, Clyde.
I just love the idea that you're discussing all of our viewpoints because it's kind of cool, and it'd be nice to kind of listen to it to see what your interpretations are. So send me an email. Let me give it to you. groundzero.pdx@yahoo.com. It's groundzero.pdx@yahoo.com. I want to hear from you about this. We'll talk more about it. I'm out of time. Thank you, Randy, so much for calling. Good night, everybody.
Oh, shit.
FM News 101 KXL.
If you're facing a divorce, custody, or child support issue, don't go it alone. You need the professionals at 1-800-DIVORCE to help protect your rights. This is Rick Jones of the law firm Goldberg & Jones. Selecting the right attorney for your divorce is one of the most important decisions a man can make. Even though your case may last only a few months, the impact lasts a lifetime. Our firm represents husbands and fathers in divorce, custody, and child support cases. Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Get your phone questions answered at no charge. That's 1-800-DIVORCE, located at 111 Southwest Columbia in Portland.
Call 1-800-DIVORCE.
Come on! Why is there no rigging shop in Vancouver? Oh wait, what's this? Are you stuck in Portland traffic, wasting time and money? Get your supplies at Vanport Rigging in Vancouver today. If you lift, pull, or drag, call Vanport Rigging. VanportRigging.com.
The most news, traffic, and weather 24/7. On air, online, mobile. This is FM News 101 KXL FM. Portland, Vancouver, Salem. It's midnight. This is CBS News on the Hour. Presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Tom Bodie, a 33-year-old Colorado man who worked in oil and gas, now stands accused of 3 counts of first-degree murder and several other charges. This in a closely watched, high-profile murder case involving his pregnant wife and 2 young daughters. Chris Watts claims he killed his wife in a rage when he, and again, as he claims, he discovered that she had strangled their 2 daughters after he had asked for a separation. A newly released arrest document confirms an affair that Chris Watts was having with a co-worker, an affair he originally denied. With more on what has come out of that affidavit, KCNC-TV's Dylan Thomas.
Late last week, we found out it was the defense, and not the prosecution, who was asking for DNA swabs of Celeste and Bella's necks and other areas. Now, Celeste and Bella are the 2 young daughters of the Watts family. We didn't know why the defense wanted that until that affidavit.
Now, the latest on Vatican efforts to root out sex abuse by priests and cover-ups by higher-ups in the church. Here's CBS News correspondent Jan Crawford.
Nearly a week after the release of a sweeping Pennsylvania grand jury investigation, the Pope condemned the atrocities suffered by at least 1,000 minors at the hands of more than 300 clergy members over 70 years. But the Pope stopped short of offering concrete steps to remove abusive priests or sanction those who took part in cover-ups.
Software giant Microsoft says it has detected and seized fake web domains that were masked to look like 2 conservative think tanks. 4 others, too, made to look like they belong to the U.S. Senate. The company says the sites were created by hackers linked to the Russian government. CBS News correspondent Steve Futterman has more on this developing story.
One of the sites reportedly targeted was the conservative Hudson Institute. It has been involved in investigations involving corruption in Russia. Another targeted site was the International Republican Institute. It has been quite critical.
Oh, Dios mío.
What did you do that for?
At the White House, President
Because I
Trump
can.
did a wide-ranging interview with the
Oh,
major
Dios
news
mío.
agency with the Russia investigation
Controlar de
of
bandito,
companies.
bien educación.
White House correspondent Weijia Jiang.
The president told Reuters that
Little bandito. How's everyone? Joe, you just use pothos in your infiltration? Yes. Negus in. You've lost our leader. Yeah, you did for a while.
But not so far out of it.
And now your leader has returned with a beast. A glorious little beast.
Calling the Mueller investigation
In a little
national
bandito.
disgrace.
Oh.
Investigators
Big
thought
belly full of food.
on Monday the Dow was
Just full of
up
food.
89 points. This
Are you pleased
is
for your
CBS
food?
News.
Little bandito boy?
Stay connected to the Northwest and the world with FM News 101 KXL.
Oh, fat boy. Leave me. How dare you?
I'm Dave King. Police are on the scene of a shooting.
God, greetings, good sir.
One man to the hospital. Authorities say a man opened fire on another man in the parking lot of the 42nd Street boat ramp around 8 o'clock.
Alright.
The shooter got away, and he's still on the loose.
What was I talking about before I left? There was something else. There was a story I was.
In fact, you got back from work and you've been here a while.
Jimmy's trying to get it set up in Big Fish Tank. Bandito doesn't accept blacks. What do you mean he doesn't accept blacks? He's like half black himself. He's got like a big bushy black tail. He's got like little white socks on his black legs. And he's got like a little black mask over his face. I mean, he's like half black. He's racist. How's he? He's literally black and white with a little bit of silver and cream in there. Like he's just like this little mishmash of like ball of like gray, black, and whites. He's like a little fluff ball, bro. Blue eyes. He's not racist. He's just a little bandito. He's not a racist. He's no racist. What is this fake news SJW narrative? What is this SJW narrative you're doing?
Folks look up. In and around Portland, as we take care of more than 11,000 roofs put on by other companies, we can tell you.
Filtration is a big issue in large tank. You needed to use a few methods to keep things going in the ecosystem. Cultural Marxism. Yep. Cultural Marxist, postmodernist, nihilist.
Northwest Rugs and Furniture summer
Good
savings
sir,
is going on
Mr.
now.
Joe, what
Get up to
are
40%
you talking
savings
about?
on selected rugs and furniture.
Joe, do you
And
use
up to 5%
hot hose in your
0%
filtration?
financing. Northwest Rugs
Oh, I
and
think you're
Furniture
talking about your fish tank. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
And don't forget their furniture.
I was just like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And I was like, okay, hold on. Now I know. I mean, because I had my own fish tanks also for, once upon a time. Don't have fish anymore. They sort of all just died out. We never cared to get them replaced. That was like at least a decade ago. Cultural capitalism equals pedophilia. Damn straight it does. I admit, I use some fake plants. I mean, we do too. We're not I'm looking at fake plants in there. So I mean, girly, Mr. Brick Boy. Kitties are everywhere. Clean out your fish tanks, buckos. Clean your fish tank, bucko. I will, Mr. Joe Peterson. Joe Jordan Peterson Malloy. That's your new name now. George Jordison Peterson Malloy. What a name. That actually sounds like it could be a legitimate name. Joe Jordan. How did I even say that? What was even the original way I said that? Jordan Joe Peterson Malloy? It was like, how did I do it? I don't even remember how I initially did it. It's weird, like there's such little combination abilities, but yeah, I forgot how it was. Jordan Peterson has a hard-on for the kiddies. No. Joe's just like, no. He's just like, he's done. He's like, I will lay down the wrench. I will lay down my arms for you. I will revoke my title as wrench title as viewer and subscriber. No, you have gone too far, Ignore. Too far.
You are the former CIA director accusing the sitting president of the United States. It's not a private citizen. A lot of people hear the former CIA director accusing the sitting president of the United States of treason. That's a monumental accusation.
These are abnormal times, and I think a lot of people have spoken out against what Mr. Trump has done.
Oh shit.
And maybe it's my warning training as an intelligence professional. I have seen the light being read in terms of what Mr. Trump has done and is doing, and is bringing this country down on the global stage, and he's fueling and feeding divisiveness within our country.
I wonder.
Oh, just fuck myself
why
up.
Brennan had his I wonder why he had his security clearance revoked. It's such a mystery. I mean, it's not like he's trying to undermine the guy he's supposed to be there.
Oh, God damn it.
Well, he's not there counseling him. He was from the last administration and had a CIA and lied a bunch of times. Welcome to the show.
I was not ready for that.
Twitter, if there's anything on Facebook. The interesting thing with Brennan is that
what I do, I don't think I was ready to take a hit. It was just harsh as fuck. There was no way I was gonna clear it. So I aborted. When I cleared, and I tried to like. It was just awful. Oh.
John is sort of like a freight train, and he's going to say what's on
Oh
his mind.
God. Oh.
I think, though, the common denominator among all of us that have been speaking up, though, is genuine concern about
Abortion. Yeah, dude, I aborted it. Oh.
And although we may express that in different ways, and I think that's what this really is about. But John and his
That's gonna be like 50 times worse. I'm not even gonna like.
an issue in and of itself.
I'm not even gonna like.
It has been. He was actually so this.
Get in there, you bitch. Okay.
He went on Mad Out, and because he was asked about, you said treason.
Wow.
And
Oh
he said,
God.
Well, my Irish came out. Maybe like he didn't actually legit commit treason. Listen to this, because it's 4 Sundays. It's so fascinating. He tried to.
No, I actually straight up need some water for this. My mouth is just like.
He doesn't know where he is.
For the President of the United States to continue to prevaricate on this issue, I think does a great injustice and a disservice to the men and women of the intelligence law enforcement community, and does a great disservice to citizens of the United States. And that's why I said it was nothing short of treason. I didn't mean that he committed treason, but it was a term that I used nothing short of.
What? Can we hear Sunday again? Because this is what he's all over the place. So what we just played is what he said every Friday. Now this
Alright.
This is what he said, and then 2 days later he said this.
Well, I call this behavior.
Carl, where'd you go? Did you fall asleep again? No. No.
Okay, wait a minute. You can't have it both ways. I'm sorry, can you play that out thing one more time? Because he said that he didn't actually commit treason. He said that.
Oh shit. I think you got just like the full view of that. I did not mean for that to happen. Okay, well, I'm gonna wait a minute before we even try to even go near that thing again.
He literally said this. He literally just said this. He said, okay.
What is she bitching about again?
John Brennan tweets on July 16th, 2018, quote, Donald Trump's press conference performance in Helsinki.
No, but I like the hobby. I'm in no position to have fish tank right now.
It was nothing short of treasonous. So he said that the fact that he held a press
You know you can get a setup and
treasonous,
complete
right?
ecosystem and grow such fresh herbs and veggies. Ooh.
Then his security clearance
Self-sustaining.
He's on Mad what, Friday, and he says, well, it's not treasonous. I mean, I didn't say he actually committed treason. And then on Sunday, he comes out and says,
I want to do that.
well, I mean,
That'd be cool. Like, what I want to do at some point is like have like basic fruits and veggies to grow, like in the backyard or something. Like have like a blueberry bush, a strawberry bush, get a grapevine too. Because I just noticed that there's a neighbor down the street who has a grapevine on one of his fences that has grapes starting to ripen, and I'm like, hey, we could do that. I mean, it's not on like a hill or nothing, so I mean, and we're not on a hill, so I mean, what's stopping us from doing that? I mean, we can, and even then, if that's a problem, then we can just buy like a bunch of dirt, just make a little tiny mound and have it grow in there, like a nice little, like a little 2-foot mound. I don't know.
Even he was shocked.
Or like a 2-foot long, like 3-foot mound or some shit. Do we have figs or something? No, I got kiwis. I got plums. I found out we had asparagus too. And we used to have blueberries, but not anymore. And strawberries too, but we don't have those anymore. But I want to get seeds and actually grow those again. I think we also have an apple tree too. Plums, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I just need, yeah, I got kiwis and plums. I just need a few other, I just want a couple other fruits and maybe like a few heads of cabbage too. Because why not? I mean, there's plenty of space in our backyard where we can have like a few things of, you know, agriculture. Nothing huge, just a little something something. I mean, we got the space for it. I mean, we used to have a little fat compost pile, but that sort of composted itself away over time. And I think Dad eventually just got rid of all the sticks that stayed. But pretty much the rest of the compost just essentially eventually composted away. Except for like the sticks, of course. But yeah, so I mean, you know, it's just little ideas, but I don't even know if I want to necessarily do it here, or, you know, just as a future thing I want to do in life. Just have like a place where I can self-sustain. I ain't growing something else soon. I'm thinking about it. I just don't. It's just that that's a lot more intricate of a plant, and that requires a lot more care and looking out for than just like a strawberry plant. Like, all right, put a little fertilizer, water it, you know, every few days, you're good. I mean, that, you know, but for like a marijuana plant, that's that requires a little bit more care because you have to like tend to it, watch it, and when you're ready for it to bud, you have to like, you know, set it up a certain way, and you know, I mean, there's a lot more of an intricacy with it, and I don't know if I'm like, I mean, I have seeds ready to like, you know, go with it, but I just have so many seeds, like, I mean, I don't know what to do with them. At least just not yet. I mean, I could at least, you know, start with a few of them. And if those don't work, well, I got plenty more. You say you got seeds. I got like at least like 20 of them, maybe more. Maybe like 30 at this point. And they're not even in the same container. Like, I have a few of them in different containers now. I mean, I'm just like, eventually, I'm just like, looking to have like a container literally just full of seeds. And like, I mean, if I eventually really legit just can't do anything with them, I'll probably just sell them. Did you ever see Black Salve victims? Like salvia? Black salvia victims? No. Nothing to lose. Yeah, besides the seed, but that's about it. So, yeah. But, you know, essentially I can just collect them right back.
Okay, now play Chuck Todd.
Community. It does a great disservice to citizens of the United States. That's why I said it was nothing short of.
You see what it looks like when you put it on their faces?
It was a term that I used nothing
short
of treasonous.
Look, that was the Madoff clip.
Damn. I'll have to check it out then. Black Salve victims.
He says it wasn't treason, and then he turns around and says, I stand by it. So he pled things out of order. But
damn. Like, what does it do? Is it like flesh eating or some shit? Where like their face gets all fucked up? It's like half rotten off or some shit? Or does it just get like a horrible rash? Like a permanent burn rash thing? Scar or something?
And then he said, well, I don't think I'm being political. Really? You don't?
Really? You don't?
Said, well, and I'm quoting him, but here's the transcript. Well, I call his behavior treasonous, which is to betray one's trust and to aid and abet the enemy.
This is going on YouTube. His nose fell off.
Except, then he said something entirely different.
So it is like flesh eating and shit. Ugh.
He said, quote, I didn't mean that he committed treason.
I mean,
sometimes my iris comes out in tweets.
It's weird, like,
what?
Literally without this like nose here, we would just like have this weirdest fucking looking face with like just like these two awful looking like holes just protruding right in the middle of it.
And
know, it's just like these, but it's just like here. And it's like, you know, I mean, yeah, like I can just imagine how awful that would look. Like, as much as they think it cures cancer, well, it cures organic life, evidently, because it can have a face get rot, like you have a nose rot off. Like, fuck, ugh, damn, I don't know if I need to look at it if, I mean, if that's what happens, I can already imagine. Oh. Am I even gonna want to attempt this? Like donut holes. Exactly, like donut holes.
ICE deported him, and the wife had to get to the hospital by herself. So bad, so horrible. Oh my gosh, another article about it.
Do I even want to?
Daily Mail had this huge thing about it. And in the subhead,
I don't know, I feel like I recovered, but at the same time, I don't know if I actually did. And I don't know if it's just gonna fuck me up.
No crimes at all. Oh, but then 24 hours later, they decided, well, I guess we should report that he was wanted for murder.
I guess we could just go for it.
And that's why ICE detained him.
Oh well.
The whole reason that he was detained
Which,
was
if it happens again, well, I know I think I'm just done for tonight, but we'll see.
And the way that they made it out, I want to touch on it because that was one of the big stories that I saw over the weekend. Andrew Cuomo keeps talking. We have that for you. We got a bunch of stuff. In the program, so you don't want to miss. Patriot Mobile, great phone service, the only conservative.
Is it just Boots now?
Actually, and you don't want to be one of those individuals that works really hard to advance conservative causes, limited government causes, only to turn around and every time you use your phone, and I'm not exaggerating. When you look at some of these phone companies like the AT&Ts and Sprints and all these cats.
See my note? The pay channels on cable are carrying the Killer Donuts movie around here. That movie is everywhere in Pennsylvania. Maybe it was filmed in Pennsylvania. Maybe that's why it's like so popular around there or some shit. But I've never heard of Piper Hair until you mentioned it, and now I've seen it, and no regrets. That's all I have to say. And I have it recorded now, so if I ever really truly wanted to just go back to it, I could just watch the recording I did of it. So, I mean, part 2. Oh god, yeah. Oh, I forgot there is a part 2. There's Attack of the Killer Donuts part 2, or at least I think they're making one. Still, it's like, oh my god. Just like, going too far. But at the same time, let it happen. I mean, I didn't even know what to say to that film. It was just like, wow.
Right for you and your budget. And they have good deals on Android phones as well. Hurry and join Patriot Mobile. Offers valid while supplies last. Mention promo code Dana to waive your activation fee when you join. Switch today. Call 1-800-8-PATRIOT or visit patriotmobile.com/Dana.
Making it, I believe. Could be a manatee with a gingerbread man. Oh my god. A gingerbread man, Brett King, riding the manatee.
On his smartphone that his motion-activated Blink
camera
detected something odd at home. He pops open the Blink app and
I am concerned.
A clip of a man peering through his kitchen window.
I'm officially concerned.
He calls 911 and alerts his wife. Helping prevent situations like this is what Blink is all about. The point of having a home security system is to help alert you before some creep breaks into your home, not after. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are free, set up in minutes, and run on 2 AA batteries that last for up to 2 years.
You know, I should have just named the stream I Can't Think Straight. Somewhere in the shirt.
Anywhere from your smartphone. No
I can't think straight.
No subscription.
Did you ever get to a dispensary yet? Peculiarly and weirdly not. I have not yet. I don't know if I will be able to get a chance on maybe until my camping trip that I'm trying to plan this weekend. And if I get a chance to do it, then it'll probably be on my way out to like buy some bud for the trip. Brett King removed Kawhi cost. Whoa. Brett King removed Kawhi cost so hard he removed him. Damn, even Brett Kane hates quiet cops. That had removed him twice.
We do one thing, and we do it very well. We represent good people facing DUI charges. We all know it's illegal to drive a vehicle while intoxicated.
I mean, I've actually realized the quiet cost is on the DFF Discord. It is very interesting, I have to say the least. It's definitely interesting. You call the show and troll them. Ah! That's funny. Okay. That's you know that's what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna troll him later in life. I don't know when, but I don't know where. You don't troll the manager and live. I ain't looking to live. I just want to troll him a few times. But the thing is, I'm not going to do it like quiet cost. It's quiet cost. I mean, he's just going to do it in a very terrible way. So, I want to at least do it in a covert way. Make it look like I'm actually like him. I actually like the guy. Get into him. Play with his mind a little bit. Get in his head a little. See if we can rile up some maybe old random stupid controversies and shit of the manatee himself. Deep, you know, see what we can find.
Everything they have to offer. MyPillow comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Money-back guarantee, that's how sure they are that you're going to love MyPillow. And everything is made right here in the USA. You know I love that. You've got
alright, well.
Just go to mypillow.com.
Easy then. I'll just do it under a sock account. Now, and my specific channel won't necessarily be removed. I mean, he's not going to know who the fuck I am. When I'm doing these trolls, I'm not going to say who I am. I'm going to go under a little, you know, a little pet name. It's not even going to be remotely related to anything that I do. It'll be like John or something like that. It'll just be like, hey, I am, you know, I am John. I'm like, my name is John.
I mean, your name's John.
I'm trying to like.
Your name is John?
I'm trying to make a nickname like on YouTube with John now.
John boy.
John Carrington. I am John Carrington with the show, The Carrington Hour, and I would like to do an interview with you, Brett King. There we go. John Carrington with the John Carrington Hour. There. There's a little pet name. We just made it up. Not like I'm probably going to remember it now. Or, you know, once we get into the moment, in the act, if we ever do. But, you know, at least we got a little pet name. And, you know, it might not even necessarily be me doing the calls. I could just have someone else do it. And then we just upload them as little segments of like, hey, we found this dude trolling Brett Kane. Here's some videos of it because his old videos got removed and shit. Reliving the legacy type of thing. We'll make up like this whole fucking cabal. This kayfabe of John Carrington with the John Carrington Hour got deleted because of Brett Kane. Like, let's just do some like psychological shit, dude. John Carrington. Yeah, dude, what would our show even talk about, dude? With, I guess because it's Brett Kane, I guess it will be the John Carrington Hour with John Carrington. Oh Jesus.
Well, 61 people were shot over the weekend in Chicago. For a second weekend this month, you had over 60 people who were killed.
And a bunch of other people shot in this country, so...
And one of those, of the 8 shots fatally,
desensitized point now.
It includes 2 missing teenage boys that were found dead in the field Sunday night. It is so far the second most violent weekend of the year in Chicago. And the second weekend...
I mean, it's still fucked up what's going on in Chicago, but I mean, it happens everywhere else in this country too. I mean, Chicago might be one of the worst spots in this country, but they're not special with the circumstance. I mean, I think arguably Detroit might be a little worse. LA could be. I mean, there's other. I mean, well, I'm just considering the news lately. I'm sure they, got their streak right now. But over like, on an average, of like the last 5 years or some shit. I mean, I'm sure you can make an argument for. I mean, statistics obviously will not lie, and that will eventually just overrule whatever fucking someone's say has to matter. But I mean. Like all those cities are just terrible with this gun violence shit. I mean, a lot of it's loopholes. I mean, mainly because like while the metropolitan areas like downtown Chicago and shit have very strict like gun regulation shit, and a lot of it I think goes too far anyway. Was that a car or was that like an animal? Or like a whatever. Anyway, but a lot of the counties and the places outside of Chicago and like all these other cities that have very, very strict regulations have very lax regulations. So people could just go to these other places, or even across the state, which like for Chicago's example, I mean there's a state right next to it basically. So I mean people can go out of state for a minute, buy a gun, and just come back. So I mean. It's not even necessarily just like what's going on in Chicago, like with the gun laws. It's just that there's a market just right outside that people can go to. It's not necessarily that's bad. It's just that you have to alleviate some of the regulations in Chicago and maybe not necessarily tighten up on certain things, but just have like I've always talked about like a licensing-based system and background checks and shit. I mean, whenever I mention regulations, especially with guns, that's mainly what I talk about. I mean, I'm never in favor of banning anything really. We haven't seen Spaz lately. He hasn't gotten any trouble. I haven't finally saw that Drugstore post as been calling him in the stream the other night. Oh yeah. Yeah, I just saw him earlier today. He's doing fine. He's been I've just been really busy with work. He's just been doing his own thing. So, well, he's been around.
You shouldn't have to spend another summer weekend sweltering inside your home. Upgrading your tattered window coverings with Select Blinds is the easiest way to stay cool. And thanks to the upcoming Select Blinds Labor Day sale, it's also
do you believe in secret voodoo hurts?
Will be offering the year's biggest
Hurts?
savings on blinds, shades, and
like huts?
that'll keep your home insulated and your electric bills low. Take advantage of the upcoming Select Blinds Labor Day.
Retracted.
Select Blinds takes the guesswork.
I see that it was just too much of a tism comment for you to let just hang out there. You're just like, nah. Even if he doesn't give a shit. Been working on it, have you? I'm gonna be, like, after Thursday, when I get my weekend thing out of the way, and I do the camping trip shit, I'm gonna be working like 8 days in a row, in a row, and it's just, I'm already feeling it. I'm like halfway through it. Do you believe in devils? No.
Stay connected. FM News 101.
I do not. I do not.
Get outside and enjoy it. Lars here. The inaugural Lars
Magic.
Larson Golf Tournament is
It's
coming
weird.
up August 30th at the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club.
Alright, well,
And it's just
I'll
about
fortunately
sold
beg
out.
to differ,
You're
but
invited to enjoy 18 holes of golf, and afterwards cigars with Lars. Go to Lars.
we kind of had this. I mean,
Link at the top of the page and buy your first round of golf. That's
wow, I just like literally was about to like say something, but my brain straight was like, nah, you're not gonna do it. I saw a guy doing it in the street. I mean, I saw a unicorn in the street, therefore unicorns are real. I mean, I could just say that, and when it could essentially mean the same thing than what you're mentioning here, because it's just like, I mean, unicorns don't exist, but people tend to say they exist, but yet they don't exist. Same thing applies to me with magic. Ignar's rich. Everyone over to dinner on Ignar at a fancy Portland steakhouse. What? Whoa, who said I was rich? Well, sir. Well, sir. I mean, there's some nice steakhouses out here, but damn, son, I can't afford. I can't afford like 20 people. Let's just joking, pup. Oh God, now you're doing it. Carl Rove got you too. Oh, Jimmy, you didn't have to retract those messages, by the way. I don't give a shit that, you know, you think you're better than me? No.
You put mom in bed, right?
Huh?
You put mom in bed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think I'm better than you. I mean, where would that been applied?
Portland's most traffic 24/7. Just really the usual stuff going on right now. Road repairs. 84 westbound, the exit ramp to 5 south is closed. The on-ramps to 84 westbound from 82nd down to I-5. 2 left lanes are blocked heading out.
Tyler think he's better than me.
From 28th Avenue.
I don't know if he even. I don't honestly know if he specifically knows you compared to like others on here like Carl and shit. So I mean, I highly doubt that he thinks you're better than him at all or anything. Or like, is a lady man? No, I mean, he brags about it, but I'm not. I'm not, and I don't give a shit that I'm not. And I don't give a shit that he is. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Tyler's actually better than me if you really want to look at this. I mean, I have a different thing going, but, you know, there's things about him that are a lot better, you know, with outcomes than me. Like, you know, when it comes to relationships, you know, like doing like, you know, getting shit going on with like intern and trade school and shit. That's actually, you know, really good shit. It's a better outcome than, you know, essentially what I got going right now. I mean, I don't got too much going on. I mean, wow, I had a nerve? No. I just generally don't see an interest in relationships right now. Never have for about the last year and a half at least. You know Paul's birthday soon. Too bad I don't know his location. I could ship him a case of tomatoes just in diesel. Yeah, ship him a whole thing of tomatoes. But nah, you didn't hit a nerve. If you hit a nerve, I would have just timed you out. But I have not ever found the need to do that. Besides someone who was like that one chick, that one weird bitch that was trolling us hard about, and was literally not making any other comment besides everyone being fat. And when it gets repetitive and dumb like that, that's just like, okay, that's dumb. But what the? Why have they just been so? Oh my god. Oh god, that thin girl, skinny girl, yeah. And then like literally every mod within that chat just unleashed literal hell on her, and she left. It was gold. Like, I loved every moment of that, and to be honest, I couldn't care less that she was there. I literally the entire time said, mods, do whatever you want. I don't care. I mean, as long as she's here, I'm just going to continue to troll with her. I mean, I just kind of do a counter troll. That's what I do. I like to counter troll. I mean, if you play along with their troll, eventually they might forget that we gangbang register. Yes, dude. We gangbang register, dude. Damn. How do you know she was skinny? I don't. I actually don't. It's just that her name was Skinny Girl. That was her channel title name, or whatever. So, for all I know, she probably was anorexic, considering that she says I was fat, and I'm probably more borderline anorexic than anything. But she was probably just a troll. I mean, for all we know, she could have been an insecure fat chick, you know, wanting to be very skinny and calling everyone fat. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if she's skinny. It's just implied that she said she was, I think, 102. Yeah, that's a little, because unless you're like I mean, if you're a certain height, like I think if you're like 5'1" or some shit, 102 is actually not a bad weight for a female. I mean, that's, I think, around average. But She could be a fat man, exactly. She could be this like 6'8", 480-pound land whale blubbering fuck, neckbeard. Like, it's just like, I mean, who knows who she could have been. So, I mean, I don't know, but there was like there was a point I was gonna make before all this, but it totally is gone now. I got like a little bit of ale. I got really fucked up off an awful hit. About to load up another one. I don't know if it's a good idea. You know, it's afraid of relationship with God. What? Huh?
I still can't believe that. You know what? I would convict him for that.
Troll or not a troll?
I would be the lone journalist.
Troll or not a troll? Down, down.
But you're ratchet.
Back when it was a good meme.
He's guilty. He's guilty because that jacket.
Dana, you are just a really dumb bimbo. You just need to stop talking. No one needs to hear you. You make really annoying points. You and yourself are annoying. No one cares. You just whine and complain a lot. You just have this smug, pretentious, I'm always right because you just so It's like, oh my god. You fear God's love. You fear love, Ignar. I don't fear... What? How do I fear love? Huh? Okay, then. Utter confusion. You just took your phone, now you're gonna go away. Just abandon me.
No, I'm not ready against you.
Oh, man must not lay with beast. Well, at least there's something I can agree with. Though, I think that's just based off of the basic idea that you should probably stick your thingy in a female version of yourself, aka your same species. So, like, I'm pretty sure this don't go in a dog. A man must not lay with a man. Okay, at that point, who says who? At that point, you say, says who? You. Because why do you care about whoever does or whatever someone else does in your bed? Well, considering that he's having a lot of angst and issue with two dudes, considering there's things like famine, wars, and stuff like that going on, I don't know, wouldn't you think that God's priorities are a little off there? Because I think there is. Christ says it's yucky. I mean, it's just... I don't even know if even, like, in the book, it specifically says, and then Jesus said, kill the gays, or hate the gays, or the gays are the yuck. At that point, God's in the closet. Oh, damn, there's a lot of... Oh, damn. At that point, you insult me. God's in the closet. Everyone's in the closet. Everybody's in the closet. Make sure I can take the sit. Alright, well, I think I'm about as ready as I think I'm gonna be with this, so... I'm just going for it. Not bad. Remember, according to the book, you made man to his image and likeness. But the thing is, my rebuttal for that would be is who specifically wrote the book, and which I believe man, there wouldn't have been just man making a god, which would have obviously made man in man's image, because man would have imagined this more omniscient. Like, I mean, I'm just, like, for me, it's just like an atheist, just, like, whenever I started thinking about these questions, it just, for me, just started, like, coming around, like, oh, this just, for me, seems a little far-fetched and ridiculous. I mean, I've never have ruled out the idea and the concept in itself of a god out, but for me, like, just, like, any man-made religion now being an abject truth, I mean, that I definitely don't believe. Like, if there is even a concept of one, considering that this universe is infinitely expanding, and there's theories that it could be doing a great retraction too, and theories that it might expand and slow down to a stop and do, like, this great, like, push back, great contraction back into itself. Like, I mean, there's theories of what it can do even after this supposed great infinite expansion, because even that in itself is a theory, because we don't know if it actually is infinitely expanding or not, but concerning that what we can observe so far, that's what it looks like. So, with that said, and considering the thousands of galaxies, and, like, hey, not even thousands, like millions, I mean, because at that point, and just that, like, in itself, like, would this god, like, even in its conceptual length of what time is, have the intention to look at this very finite little, like, molecule of this whole painting of things that he's working on? Would he have enough to, like, look at what little details going on while he's, like, way over here doing something else? Like, even with that, like, it would just mean that you just want to, like, pay attention, but it wouldn't mean it wouldn't be there. But yeah, let's go. Getting back to the fish tank. I was watching a snail today. When you know the snail lays eggs and it fertilizes them. Huh.
Then the babies eat them. Then the females eat them.
Snails?
I was talking about fish.
Oh, I would. Yeah, like, I know with fish, like, if they're not fertilized, I know, they would eat them. But if they are, then they'll have them in, like, its little spot. Or if I think they're rival fish or whatever, it's like, I want my genes continuing on, like, you know, thinking whatever.
We bred fish at one time.
Yeah. According to quantum physics, energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but change form. Yeah, I mean, quantum theory is just, like, this whole new thing, and, like, that's just a whole other thing in itself. I can't even, nor will claim to have any explanation what the fuck quantum physics explains, but it's definitely something that absolutely fascinates me and I have a great respect for, because it's a field that's most definitely going to be growing, especially in the future, as we get to know more about it. Which is, like, you know, why I honestly, you know, want to embrace, you know, this advancement of technology and research that we do, because imagine the capabilities that we can have, like, you know, having the discovery of, you know, having the first quantum computers, you know, available and shit. Like, imagine, like, you know, the ability of information going from one place to another, just literally like that. Like, just, we didn't question our death. Not necessarily. Well, like, I mean, from what we know so far, I mean, there's still a theory of, like, what happens after, but we at least know that, like, you know, I mean, reincarnation, yeah, because energy that is in us cannot die. Not be recycled. I mean, I'm just, like, part of it's just because I'm, like, what, like, the 4th day or something? 5th day now? 5th day, I think. 5th day? I'm losing track. I mean, a lot of it's, like, my brain's fried from work, but, you know, because energy that is cannot die. we might be resect. So I mean, our body dies, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't even like understand truly what consciousness is really either. So I mean, we don't even really know what happens to it afterwards. I mean, we can only really speculate. Like brain also, but the mind that runs us. I mean, our brain essentially runs our mind, if you think about that. I mean, our brain doing chemical reactions and no responses in itself, you know, doing all the works. I mean, that you know, allows you to have your have emotions come out, like, you know, if you're angry or if you're feeling happy, you know, you get that rush of dopamine. Or if you're feeling an adrenaline rush, you know, adrenaline glands start going on because your nerve response sensories are, you know, activating that shit. I mean, the brain is a very complicated organ, and there's definitely a connection with the brain and the mind where it at least, like, the brain at least has some control over it. I mean, obviously because it's within it itself, but to what extent and how much, you know, we know of what our mind is still what we're trying to figure out. And I think it's something we're probably still going to try to figure out for a very long time. It's like a conveyor belt, the brain, but consciousness runs the belt. I mean, what would be that belt, though? I mean, I'm not really understanding that metaphor here. Like, it's like a conveyor belt, the brain, but the consciousness runs it. And I'm just kind of struggling and like trying to wrap my own mind, you know. Ironically, to talk about it. I thought the brain was our meat tool that our soul used when I was young, but then we got old memories in the next life. Brain has parts. Well, yeah, I mean, the front cortex, the nervous system. I mean, the motor cortex. I mean, frontal lobe. I mean, there's all sorts of different parts of it. And they all need something to run it all. But, yeah, and for me, I see that, wouldn't that just be the heart then? Because that has electrical pulses that go through it and help with the nervous system to pump blood through around your body, which also goes to your brain. And, which allows oxygen to, you know, go through and make sure that your cells and shit, which need oxygen to go on and continue to live. It's a factory. Please thought. I definitely agree to like an extent that our body's a factory, but the other part I'm still very like unsure of, just because I don't even. But if energy can't be destroyed. I mean, I don't know if necessarily there was ever a claim that energy could be destroyed, because now I'm thinking about, like, what would be, like, an argument that energy could be destroyed, and I'm thinking about it, but everything that I think of is just energy being transformed into a different form of energy. Like, for example, the battery that runs his phone. It's stored energy that's being used to export energy that runs this thing. And what's another thing? Like a fire. Like, you have a fire going on, but with this energy that will, you know, burns out. I mean, it's not necessarily burning out that energy, it's just being transformed into a different form. And that form would essentially be the expulsion of the gases of the carbon dioxide from the fires, which would be like the leftovers and the waste of the, you know, fires, essentially. And then there's also the ashes of, like, the remains and the ash matter as well. So whatever organic matter or whatever matter that was burning becomes ash. So, I mean, while that might be the most exhumed form of the energy, I mean, there's still something a little there. It could be used as like a fertilizer for the land and stuff. So, I mean, it's something that still has an energy use, because it can be used to build the energies of other things. Like I was saying, like fertilizer for plants and other creatures and stuff. So I mean, everything to me just like I don't know if necessarily anyone has ever claimed that energy gets destroyed. Like I mean, I can maybe see like people make an argument for it, but I don't know. Like I mean, I was trying to do that very same thing, and I was having a very hard time. Like I don't know if I found one. I mean, everything I've thought about so far has kind of come into the energy just transforms into different forms of energy, which, you know, gets consumed by other forms of energy to be used to exert other energy. So I mean, it's just, I mean, it just seems to be this constant that always happens. It's just, I think the one thing that people can make more of an argument for is how much energy is there in a given thing, and how much energy is being like transformed out of it or into it, or vice versa, or at the same time, or whatever. But percentage within us. I mean, other people. I mean, I don't know if that's not even necessarily true, because other people have other ideas what that can be. I mean, other people think it's consciousness. I mean, other people just think it's just the electrical pulses of your body. I mean, some people just keep it simple. I mean, other people say a soul. Other people say, I mean, other people just don't have a definitive answer one way or another. He said it leaves the body when people are in position. Oh, that's related to that. There's an anesthesiologist that said that soul resides in part of the mitochondria. Leaves the body when people are under anesthesia. Huh? Like, for me, that just, I don't know, like, it doesn't really make sense much to me, because, I mean, mitochondria, what I know about it is essentially it's like this microbacteria that's in all of your cells, and you only get it from your mother's side. And so they're able to go down the family, the gene tree of no, lol. No, lol. Not micropic. I mean, this was like in my biology 101 class, so I mean, it's not like literally a microbacteria. I mean, I'm not saying it's literally that, but the origins of what it is was that I mean, this was like years ago. I'm like information I'm digging in my head here because I haven't researched biology. Read a book, they are an original cell. Tell me to read a book? What? I mean, I know they're part of original cells because I was just about to get to the point of like they can trace the DNA of the with the side of the mitochondria because it's only on your mother's side, which that part's definitely true. I don't care what you say. Is there's they could trace it down to 4 female humans in Central Africa. I don't know if they were able to directly pinpoint it, but they're able to at least pinpoint enough that there's 4 Homo sapien humans that pretty much all modern humans derive from, and it's and it comes from Central Africa. And they're able to do that just with the mitochondria part of your cells. Because there's a specific, because you can only get that through your female side, which does make sense because considering that they're the egg and that is essentially like a slightly oversized cell that is missing half of its DNA because it needs the other half to fuse with the sperm. I mean, it kind of makes sense that, you know, there would be like a little mitochondria fitting there, nice and snug, just waiting for the fertilization. So, I mean, so makes sense that that's actually the case just based off that. So. Don't believe. Then you have to believe in energy source, don't you? I mean, I have like for creation. I mean, there is like building blocks for like creation, but what would be the in what context of creation are we talking about? Just like the Earth's creation, or just like life's creation, or the universal creation? Because I mean, because I can make a different answer depending on what we're talking about. And one of them is for sure I don't know if it's just for universal context. Like if we're talking about that, the vastness of the universe, I generally just don't know. Because there's so little we know of the universe. How am I supposed to make a guess with Big Bang? Well, I mean, we at least can. It's still the edgelording fedora owning the libs. Lol. Indeed. Gotta own the libs. With my Trilby fedora, I'm going a little extra fancy with my fedora. There's creation down to me. Well, I like. We definitely, there is like with the cosmic background radiation, I mean, that alone at least can prove that there is a pinpoint start of where the universe essentially had a start. Which, for me, that can only really mean like a Big Bang type of thing. So, at least with that theory, I would at least say there's, that for the universe, that's at least the best logical explanation we got, because at least there's evidence to support that right now. But how that happened and what was before that, we don't know. And tell your mom Hail Satan from me. Oh yeah, that's the last thing I'm gonna like. I appreciate the condolences to send down the line, but that's the last thing I will ever say to her. She will just have a heart attack right off the start. Oh, it's Big Bang. Yeah. I mean, just with the cosmic background radiation alone, I mean, we know that. So it's just where to go from there. Like, all right, how did it start? And energy. But yeah, I mean, of course it had this little pinpoint ball of energy had to have. I mean, a starting point. Yeah, I mean, it's just, for me, the question is like, which is something that we still don't have an answer for yet, is, was there something before that, or is there like something in like or if like the multiverse theory plays a part in this case, like was there like another universe that bumped into this little pinpoint and exploded off and had a chain reaction? Like, I mean, there's all sorts of theories that could have started this universe as we know it here. I mean, there could be multiple universes as we know it going around doing their own things with different laws of physics for each one, with different, laws of reality, and all sorts of just things that would be incomprehensible to us because it's just a different reality that would just be literally incomprehensible. I mean, there's just no way to explain that. I mean, it's because it's a different universe. I mean, unless they're all strangely, for some reason, all the same laws of physics and like dimensional everything, and they're all just clones of each other, which would be weird for multiverses to be like that. I would assume they will all be kind of different, but maybe the universe is alive and it was birthed by Mama Universe. Maybe. I mean, the thing is, that's the question. Like, we were talking about other dimensions. Yeah, I mean, we know where there's at least different dimensional planes. It's just that how many, and then, and what lies within these planes. Like, I mean, is there any other, like sentient races like us that are at a superior dimensional plane than us? I mean, there's a lot of different questions about this universe right now that, we could potentially eventually find an answer for like this thing of it, like an energy, or as you're saying, as a soul or something like that. I mean, for what this question is for, like us essentially. Back to energy. I think we're talking about it, because I mean it all kind of correlates. I mean, because it all has the same premise behind it. It's just is what's what's the source of it, and like I was saying before, I don't know if we're ever gonna have this true answer, at least for a while. I'm sure we can, with enough enlightenment and technological advancement, if humans are willing to go, push that envelope, which doesn't seem like we are right now. And I don't know if we'll even be able to do that if the Earth doesn't want to burn itself out and burn away into a big ball of fire like the West Coast is, at least. So if we are beings and not machines, I'll let you continue that, but so if we are being, we must somewhere be energy based, yeah? Oh, I mean, all life is, has to go on with energy. I mean, let's just, look at different contexts of what energy is, at least for life. Fat, different food source abundances, water, heat, too, even with the sun when it comes to plant life. There's different forms of energy that, life needs to intake. And, so, and energy never dies but it forms. Yeah, on the contrary, energy powerhouses of the cell. Yeah. Yeah, there's these little, every, with life, there's all these things that use energy and just needs it, and has all these different complex little, little grinds and gears going together, we got little ribosomes and shit that, carry proteins and other things in our own cells. It's basically like a cell has their own cells, which are ribosomes, basically, that, go around in the cell and transport shit to, cellular, organelles and stuff. We got, which, are basically the organs of the cell, which mitochondria is one of them. And ribosomes is also another one of them. And the nucleus is another. Even the cell wall, the lining of the cell itself, is an organelle. Just the whole. Life is fucking complex, and that's what fascinates me about it. It's just there is definitely profound beauty with it. As I study in it, I'm beginning to wonder about Buddhist thinking. I've always been open, I don't know if I've ever, in my time, would have ever considered myself a Buddhist, but I've always have, adopted or at least, respected a lot of Buddhist ways of thinking. So, I can say I've always wondered about it, too. It's definitely a very, interesting philosophy in its own, just to, think about. Keep hearing Violinet's war in the background for some reason. Someone playing a video game back there. Oh, yes. You're playing a puzzle game? Oh yeah, yeah. We got Robert over here playing a little puzzle game. Just enjoying himself. The other old man? Yep. There he is, just doing his thing. Rob liked Godzilla. Rob liked Godzilla. I guess I wonder if you like a Godzilla.
Sure, yeah.
Godzilla's fucking great. Godzilla.
7 deals.
Played Pac-Man today. Dope, dude. I've always loved Pac-Man. I'm sure I could probably find like a red browser version of it, and I could probably play it. Whenever when I get the desktop and shit from my friend, now he's about to go back to Montana and stuff, and he's gonna be able to ship his desktop out to me and stuff. That's gonna be something gonna happen soon, and yeah, and once that gets happening, I'm probably gonna do web browser games to kind of start with, while I'm streaming. I'll probably do a few streams at first, just doing what I normally do right now, just to at least get like, make sure things work and have settings all good and stuff. Then I'll do web browser games and probably do actual games, like stuff I always like to play, and go from there. All right. You play Smash Brothers, I'm assuming. I don't own it, but if it's there, I mean, and people are playing it, I'll fucking join in it too, dude. Like, I mean, whenever, like, one thing I've always noticed about, like especially with meetups or like conventions and shit that have like a subgroup of gamers and stuff, I know that they'll always have like this little game room of just where a lot of nerds like to go hang out and stuff. But there will always be like the Smash Brothers tournament going on in like almost every one of these game rooms. No matter, like, literally go to any game room, and if there's not a Smash Brothers tournament of some sort going on, or they don't have a setup for one of those, there's something wrong with that game room. Like, I swear, like, it has to be like a standard that a Smash Brothers tournament area, like where like 8 people or 4 people, or however many people can like get together and just have a fat tournament and and compete. Like, every game room I've been around here has one of those. Can't afford a Nintendo, hashtag rich kids. I mean, I got a Nintendo 64, which was just handed down to me, and I had a Wii for a while, but that's about it. And I don't have Smash Bros, but I got Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye 007, Ocarina of Time, and a few other Nintendo games. I pretty much got like the golden games for Nintendo 64 that were like the peak of what like 64 games are good. Just so you know, I'm not done with the energy conversation. Just it leaves because 4 a.m. my debate mind is on hold for now. Hey, it's all good, dude. I'm honestly surprised I was able to get one going the way I was able to there for a bit, considering my brain right now. I mean, I'm just like worn out, dude. I mean, I was debating in my mind. I was like, do I want to stream? And I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, might as well. I mean, what am I going to do? Just like listen to YouTube videos like I normally would do, check Twitter, bullshit on there, go on Discord or something. I mean, just want to be this. At least this feels a little bit more productive because I'm talking with other people. Get my mind working on different ideas and different views and different ideas, concepts and shit. So, we already had a really interesting concept about just this idea of what energy is alone and shit. I just personally just don't believe it's like in something like a soul or anything like that. I do think there's like this energy or something, but I just generally don't really have much of an answer because, I think it's okay to not have an answer for some things, you know what I mean? Going to bed now, Jimmy? Alright, my friend. I'll see you whenever I do another one. I definitely know I need to do a pre-recorded video. I haven't done one of those in a while. Hi from Eugene. Oh shit, Equals Pro. What are you doing in Eugene? Oh shit. I took one of those brain tests and I was told that I have to think of a guy 20 to 30 before I can get the body back. I mean, yeah, I should do one of those brain tests. See where mine, like, I don't know how, like, accurate those brain tests might be, but, or, like, these tests, like, political compass tests, or, like, personality tests and shit. Like, I mean, I don't know how accurate they really are, but, for the most part, every time I've taken one, it seems to put me in a fairly accurate, area, I would say. So, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to. Which one was it? I'll have to try it out myself. Because if I feel like it's a little off or contradictory to other tests I've taken before, then I'll be like, what's going on here? I've taken 4 and averaged them out. Oh, okay. So that's probably the best way to do it, honestly. Is just take multiple tests of like the same concept test, like a brain test, for example, and just average it out. Because, like, let's say I took, like, I'm sure there's multiple different political tests out there. So if I were to take, like, there's 3 of them or some shit, and average out where the political alignments went to, I'm sure that would probably be a little bit more of an accurate descriptor, because one might think more about what authoritarianism and libertarianism is to a person. One might have more of a bias towards that, and one might have a more bias towards left versus right political leanings, and then one just might have a very simplistic, you know, test meeting, and yeah. It's online. I'll have to send you a link. Alright, yeah. I mean, just DM me on Twitter. You follow me there. It's the best place to send me links and shit. I mean, also Discord. I'll eventually, that next pre-recorded show I get, I'll make sure I have a Discord in there so everyone can just go to it. Equals Pro, I don't know him. Rip City Baseworks, who's also Stefan. That's his brother. Equals Pro. He pops in every now and then. Doesn't stay long because he left already. I was like, he said hi from Eugene, Oregon. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Eugene? And he leaves. And I'm like, you asshole. So, he pops in every now and then, but he doesn't stay too long to have a conversation. It's just like, have a conversation with Suzuki, you bitch. Oh my god. Oh my god. You dropping her. Yep, he just eavesdrops and butts out. Here's what the conversation is for like 2 seconds. Says hi and leaves.
That's trying to do. Yeah.
Huh?
Hi, bye.
That's what Equal Pros does. So Stefan's little brother. He'll pop in and say, hey, what's up? Because he just came in and said hi from Eugene. I'm like, what are you doing, Eugene, dude? And he left. Like, I guess he probably left, like, before I said my question, but it's just like, damn. Now I'm unsure why Marcus is in Eugene. Now I have to ask your roommates. Stretch. I don't want to stop. Yeah, there we go. Man, I could tell I was really lifting some shit today. My back is just like, ugh. It's not like hurting or sore, it's just tense. I guess it is sore, but it's like more tense than anything.
Just the nerves.
Yeah. Well, it's mainly the muscles, really. I mean, if it was like pain and soreness, it would be more nerves, but the tension is definitely more muscle. I mean, in a way it's good, because I'd rather it be tension than like actual straight up soreness, or just like my back feeling like, ugh. Really? Want a massage? Hey, it'd be nice, but like I'm the only capable person of giving one, and I can't really give one to myself well. I mean, I've had my attempts, and sometimes it works, but I mean, it's hard to work on yourself like that. I mean, I've thought about like having someone maybe just like doing a quick step, you know, on my like lower back, because there's been like something there. It's not really bothering me anymore, but I can tell there's just like this like one spot that I know has just been like tensed up for a while. That could really use a nice little like stretch and pop. You don't want to have 4D. Too bad we don't have 4D. What? I've done that in a while. What? Speaking of dimensions. Oh, fourth dimension. Probably do. It's just, I mean, we probably do have a fourth dimension. It's just that we can't comprehend it because it's beyond our
dimension.
Yeah. Like, we're on a third dimensional plane, so by logic, anything that comes from like a fourth dimension or beyond, we're not going to be able to really comprehend. It's going to seem like something totally unreal. Like, we can eventually, like, learn and, about it, like, once we actually discover it and are able to kind of peek our toes in it a little bit. But that's about as far as we're ever going to go. Like, we can, like, in a way, like, taking a psychedelic trip, like, having mushrooms and shit is, in a way, is like peeking your toes into that, because, or like a DMT trip, I mean, that kind of opens up a little bit to, like, a fourth dimensional plane-ish type of thing, or at least that it makes your mind get into that type of mindset, so it opens up this different reality in a sense. We can see, feel, acknowledge it in a way. See, feel, acknowledge it in a way. Yeah, I mean, like, we know it, like, yeah, like, just because we can't comprehend it doesn't mean we know it's, like, there, you know what I mean? Like, there's just, I mean, like, I don't know what exact, like, I know, with, like, quantum theory, I think it plays a little bit in with, like, the higher dimensions, but it would be, but I don't know if there's anything that really delves into it that much. I do know that actually, Neil deGrasse Tyson actually explained a way of fourth dimensional travel, and it kind of put it in a easy way to explain it. So, like, for example, like, this fridge, like in this fridge door and whatever, like, essentially, like, what a fourth dimensional plane would be. Like, let's say that fridge door was on the wall instead, and you open the door and there's this extra room in there, but if you were to actually go on the other side of that wall, it's just the family room and shit. But if you were to have, like, this fourth dimensional portal door, you would be able to have, like, this extra room that you can just walk into, even though that's not actually there if you go on the other side of the wall. I mean, so there's like ways to explain, like, about the fourth dimension and stuff. It's just that for the most part, it's incomprehensible, and we can only explain it with just context and metaphors with what we can understand, which is like what I was just mentioning about the example with, like, a door, and how, like, if you were to have a box and open that box and just, like, stick however many things you want in there and close it up, and you just got this tiny little box, but inside is this fat storage field or whatever. Like, I mean, like, that seems incomprehensible, but it's a way to at least kind of explain of how we can open ourselves to it, which then we can expand into it, which can lead to other different possibilities that, at least for right now, are out of our realm of possibility. Some people talk, but is it really, or is it a mind game with drugs? That's, I mean, that you will have to go to studies and research, which there is to be found. I just don't have any, and I don't know any to, pick off the top of my mind to kind of explain that a little bit. But there is studies and research that do talk about at least, like, the effects of, like, mushrooms, or at least, like, DMT and psychedelic drugs, including at microdoses too, about what it does with, like, the mind, and also what it, like, doesn't do and stuff like that. So I don't got the answers or, like, the source of any studies that do research into it, but there is some out there. So to talk about that with Def, that we changed dimension we were located in. I mean, I know that when we do go through the experience of dying, our brain goes through a DMT trip right before you die. It has, like, an explosive DMT reaction before, essentially in, like, the moment of death, which, if you can get DMT in artificial ways, but it's also organically in you, because if we're able to have a DMT experience upon death and birth too, those are the only two, like, natural occurring times we have DMT experiences. Due to the trauma of these experiences, like, I mean, when you're born, I mean, your head gets basically crushed by a pussy. like, damn. Like, I mean, talk about a painful way to, start your life, like, to get your head crushed. Like, I mean, that's essentially what happens because your skull isn't fully formed. It has to be, like, in chunks, so when it smooshes together, it can, it doesn't, like, kill you, but it can also get your damn baby body out of the, out of you. I mean, like, there's a lot of trauma with that, so, I mean, it makes sense that there's, like, this DMT experience, plus you don't remember anything about a birth because it's just this traumatic experience and shit. So, I mean, it could be, similar thing could be said about death, too. Next band name, Pussy Crushers. Yep, Pussy Crushers. I mean, am I wrong, though, here? I mean, when you're born, your skull is in chunks, and when you're being squeezed out of the vagina, your head gets a little crushed, as you get out there. I mean, it's not like literally crushed, but I mean, it gets compressed, and so you can be birthed out. So this big gargantuan bulb, popping out of her doesn't outwardly just destroy her and rip her apart. I mean, at least with the shoulders, you can compact them like this, and it's not that bad. But with the head, you got this fat bulbous thing here, dude. I mean, you kind of need that to be compressed a little bit, just a little. So, I mean, that's why we got that ability. That's why when you look at skulls, you can see there's these parts where there's obviously different parts of a skull meet. I mean, that's why that's there, because when you're birthed, your skull's in chunks, and then it hardens over time. So you're a very, 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 very fragile little thing when you're born, because for a month or so, your skull is not even a singular thing. It's just a bunch of chunks, just all up in its grill, just all waiting to harden up. So, I mean, yeah, welcome to life, where when you're an infantile baby, the slightest touch to your head can make you brain dead, basically. Yay! It's just yay! Accidentally hit your head as a baby, as an infantile 3-week-old, and your skull isn't fully formed yet, so it's just you got this one chunk that indents itself a little bit. You're yay! Yes, true, and we have no memory of it. Yeah, because our body tends to forget very traumatic and painful experiences, and birth is one of them. I mean, even my mom said it, was mentioning this earlier. She says, I don't even remember giving birth to you, I just remember waking up and seeing you after birth. And it's yeah, because it's a very painful, traumatic experience. Your body ain't going to want to remember that. And it doesn't. That's why there's people with PTSD, because it's post-traumatic stress and shit. And that ends up being a disorder, but, we naturally have these moments in life, which birth is one of them, for the mother and the baby. And, and there's also various different other things that people just will naturally go through and stuff. But, then there's straight up PTSD, which is the disorder of it. Vodka would cure it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, enough vodka cures anything. I don't know if that's, an actual philosophy to go by, but in Russia it is. At least with the Russian populace. I don't know if Putin goes by that. Rip, are you covering the drinks? Yeah, are you covering all the white Russians for us? Hey, you know what? Maybe me and Logan will probably go to Wichita Pub afterwards, and just, in honor of Stefan, we'll all just, take some white Russians to you, dude. How about that? Play a couple games of pool. Did you win any of those games? I know Logan won one and I won one. And then, I don't know if you did win a game. Another reason to drink. Nah, I'm broke. Another reason. My wife left me. Another reason to drink. I don't have any food right now. No reason to drink. I'm sleepy. Reason to drink. I just feel like shit. Reason to drink. Hello, me and what money? Me? I thought you won all of them. You were kicked in multiple acid pool. I know the second round I didn't, but the first round I totally did. And I think that was also the peak of my drunken stupidity. Oh, is he a good pool player? I fancy myself a pool player. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I'm decent. I mean, I know how to play it, but good at it? I have my streaks, but I don't I'm not consistently good. I mean, sometimes I just flop and I suck. Was that before or after drinking? It was during the drinking. We bought our drinks and the Wichita Pub, this place that we go to, literally has the answer as I typed. There we go. Yeah, I mean, what was I just about to say? Yeah, they have 20 pool tables. Oh shit, has anyone heard from Isaac Burrito recently? Isaac Burrito? Huh? I am confused. I's confused about butter toast. I don't know why I just pulled an Ed impression from Ed and Eddie. But I did. What is that? Oh, pool balls. Just gonna start punching everything. Punching a desk. Just punching his bong. Punching his phone. Gonna burn it too. Not literally. The dude from the punk show a couple years ago. Which one? Obviously, was I there? Cause I'm really not recalling right now. It could just pop up suddenly, and I'll be like, oh! But that hasn't popped up yet, so I really don't know. But I could just go, oh! All of a sudden, but I don't know. It's just not clicking right now. Isaac Burrito from a punk show a couple years ago. Obviously, Stefan had to have been here. I've been to a few shows, so I know. I don't know. It's not clicking. Will kept giving him a bunch of fake names. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about now. I don't remember what he looks like, but I think I know the character you're talking about. And yeah, because of the multiple random names, I never knew his real name, so it was just a figment of the imagination. But I think I know what you're talking about. You really like the color yellow? Okay, I think I know what you're talking about now. I just generally... Isaac Burrito, that's the name of this guy. Isaac Burrito now. I mean, I'm sure that's not even his real name. I'm pretty sure that's probably one of Will's pet names. I didn't care if it's his real name or not. It's the name I got from him. Well, now it's the name I got for him. It's probably going to be the last mention of Isaac Burrito ever. Because he gave Logan his number and he said he wanted to jam. Well, to be honest, there's a lot of random people that Logan says that he gets, numbers of random people to jam with. I just remembered that randomly. Huh. I do remember one time Will was passed out drunk in Logan's bed of the black Mazda, dude. And we had to, he was soaking wet and freezing. And he was just, probably, borderline hypothermia. And was just, out of it. And then I think the cops showed up. And Tyler was, ranting on how they're, Caesar's Legion. And how they're, about to arrest all of, the Jews and Canaanites and shit. And I'm like, what the and the Celts and stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck? Sounds about right. Yeah. It was a weird night. But I don't even know what the fuck is going on with Will now, dude. It's been so long. Like, I mean, literally, like, the last time I ever heard from him was just, like, utterly just awful shape. Just, like, drugs literally have, like, overcome him, dude. It's terrible. It's just another sad example of, you know, a failed system and a crisis of opioids and drug addiction forever, you know, like, plaguing this country. Not even just this country, but, you know, I mean, just around North America, too. I mean, Canada isn't excluded from it. I mean, they got their fair share of problems, too, because they do a lot of deals with us as well. So, I mean, he went to rehab. It's hypothetically clean and moved to Gresham. Gresham. Okay. He went to rehab, hypothetically got clean, and is in Gresham? Gresham. Come on. Dude, that's the last place you want to go to after you get clean from anything. Logan ran into him on the max. Ah. Yeah, like, I remember he mentioned that, but, I mean, I don't know. And then he wouldn't stop spamming him for a couple of weeks. Yeah, because there was communication, and there was like, oh, we can hang out again now, or something like that. I don't know. But, I mean, I haven't heard from him since. Apparently moved to Gresham. Alright, well, I really doubt he got clean if he's living there. But, I don't know. It's like, you know, it's like, well, I mean, what he was even on? Like, just meth, crack, pills, like, combination of three, or in heroin too? Like, he did, like, all sorts of shit. And, you know, the way his body looked, you know, when I last saw him, definitely showed. Really definitely showed. I mean, he's just a sad case, honestly. But if it's true that he went to rehab and got clean, and that part's at least true, and he's at least trying to make something of himself in Gresham for some reason out of all places, then alright, more power to him. But apparently everything except pills. Well, I mean, for a lot of people, that tends to be the gateway to a lot of these other drugs, so maybe he branched off from it, or just never touched it. I don't know. But, I mean, it's just a crisis that, you know, if we had just something as simple as, like, public rehabilitation programs, just, you know, public funded rehabilitation programs, you know, federally, something as simple as that would alleviate at least some of the problem. Maybe not in the whole thing. I mean, it definitely won't cure it at all, but it'll at least give people an outlet to go to where they can get that rehab if they so need to. And, you know, it'll provide an outlet, at least. And, I mean, I know there's been a few places where they've been taking steps to kind of help go towards this type of direction, but it just seems like for actual impactful change to happen, I mean, it needs to be, you know, policies, especially like this, definitely need to be on a more federal, national standard. Like, when it comes to these drug, you know, trying to alleviate this opioid drug crisis, it definitely needs to be a national standard on, like, doing rehabilitation and trying to help people get off these drugs and getting back into a normal functioning society again. You know, I mean, if we stop demonizing the people who take these drugs and shit and try to help them get off of them, I mean, it's not going to help every single person who's addicted to these drugs, but a lot of these people, you know, never initially chose to get addicted. They're just feeding their addiction because that's what cures the pain now. Their pain got replaced with just chronic pains to withdrawal pains, and they need help. That's what they need. You know, you can't demonize them. Never helps the problem. It just makes it worse, and because you're not solving it at all. You're just letting it get worse. Take a cue from Canada? Yeah. Not to mention OD on cough syrup. Yeah. Pussy scared. I forgot to say I had a verbal running with Trump supporter today. Oh, that sounds fun. I haven't... honestly, I mean, I live in the Northwest. I live in Portland, pretty lefty place. But, I mean, I can tell who may be a Trump supporter, but I never really run into them and have a conversation with them. There's not any out there really to find. I mean, everyone I've talked to is like generally either left-leaning or just lefty in general. Like, you know, just, I mean, I could kind of get an assumption with just how people look. I mean, you can never really just assume off of what people look, but you can kind of get an idea when you have a conversation with people. I mean, when I'm at work and I talk with people, you know, helping a customer or whatever, and we just have a side conversation, I can kind of get an idea who they are. I mean, of course, you can never really know who they are until they open up about themselves, but, you know, if we, like, for example, if all these fires going on and stuff, you know, that's been a main topic that pops up a lot with customers, so, you know, people pop up climate change as, you know, something that comes up in these conversations and stuff. So, I mean, just with that alone, I could kind of tell a lot of people that I talk with are probably left-leaning at least. Or at least, like, a centrist. Which, you know, there's not a lot of people who are, like, outwardly right-wing around here. I mean, I know there's, like, a few people around my neighborhood that are, but they generally don't. They're generally either really old and don't get out much, or they just, you know, don't come by the deli for some reason or something. I just never see them around. The Joey Gibson alt-right people. They all live in the Couve. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, a lot of the Joey Gibson alt-rightist counter-protesters, they all live in Vancouver, but I'm just talking about just everyday people. I'm not even talking about these movements and organizations that do protests and shit. I'm just talking about everyday, you know, the average Joe that I just talk with. I mean, there's obviously people who are probably more conservative-leaning, and I see that in people. But, you know, for the most part, I never really see someone who's, like, a Trump supporter or, like, an alt-rightist or, like, someone who's right-leaning. Generally, people are moderate or left-ish, you know, in a sense. I can kind of have, like, an idea with that. But, again, that's just where I live. I mean, it's just where my demographic zone is. Portland and where I live around here is just predominantly more left-leaning. So, just where I live. That's 8. Why he fell asleep. I saw Karl Rove on TV this afternoon. Well, damn. You saw our boy on TV today. Wait, what? Karl Rove. He's that's not the real name of someone who watches me, but that's his channel name. But I guess the actual Karl Rove is on TV today. Well, why is he still on TV? Like he's known for being a secretary in the Bush administration, but that's about all I know about him. And honestly, I couldn't give a fuck less about him at this point. Defending Trump polling security clearances. Oh, so he came on to talk about this whole security clearance debacle thing, or whatever the fuck is going on in the news now. What's going on? I've been kind of out of touch with the recent Trump stories. It's not that I've stopped it's partially I've stopped giving a shit, but part of it's just that, oh my god, it feels like it's just on a loop, and it feels like I know there's different news and things going on, but in the whole big thing of, you know, the whole year going on and shit, and what I've read, and just like the theme of everything, it just seems like it's a loop, and it's just like I have to stop giving a fuck. But I mean, I've heard a little bit about it. Is this whole security polling clearance thing is like supposedly polling clearances of like investigators or some shit, and supposedly he's gonna like poll Robert Mueller too. He's polling security clearance of people who talk against him. So essentially, with that, it sounds like he's just being egotistical. If you talk bad about him, you don't, to him, you're suddenly like his mortal enemy. Like, even though, you know, there's been countless people who've taken criticism and they've, you know, taken it fairly well and a lot more maturely than this, but we're just dealing with a clown, dude. I mean, really, like, oh, I'm gonna pull security clearances of people who talk bad about me. Mature. Pretty mature. But, I mean, supposedly he's supposed to, like, pull the clearance of Robert Mueller or whatever, but a former head of CIA who said he acted treasonous. Yeah, so if he pulled his today. Yeah, like, so he can't pull Mueller yet. He knows Republicans would get completely trampled in midterms if he did. The thing is, I don't know if Trump cares, though. I don't know if he does. I think he's going to be... He's waiting until after. I mean, you know, midterms are coming up, but, you know, I don't know if he himself truly does care. I think he truly just wants this shit to fucking end. And I think if he really did have his way, I'm sure the political pressure of the Republican administration around him is telling him to wait. And I think they're telling him, go after these people instead. Here's some shit they said that's bad about you. You know, I think yeah, his staff does. Yeah, I mean, you know, so they're trying to make sure he doesn't, you know, do something stupid like, you know, pull Robert Mueller's clearances and shit, which, you know, say what you will about him, he's investigating Trump not just about this whole Russia shit, but also about his personal financial ties and shit. And that is something I see relevant for investigation. So you're really going to do that. You're really going to do that. I mean, that would be obstruction of justice, just outwardly, too. And I wouldn't say that would be treasonous, but impeachable. I mean, if you're ever going to say this was treasonous to Trump, then literally every past president might as well be treasonous, considering the policies they've done before. He did delay Putin's visit. I mean, honestly, if he doesn't like you, he thinks all night how he can fuck you. Yeah. All he cares about is how you're going to personally benefit him. And if you do him wrong or whatever, he's just going to screw you over for his own benefit in the end anyway. But with the whole Putin's visit thing, I really could not care that he's got Putin coming to the White House. Like, if anything, I wish that was a more common thing, not with just Trump, but with just other presidents and just, you know, with international politics in general. Like, shouldn't international leaders meet and talk with each other to talk about these problems going on in the world? Wouldn't diplomacy be a better option than just bombing the fuck out of things and, you know, instigating and antagonizing these other leaders and shit? I don't know. I think the diplomacy idea sounds a little better to me. So, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, if there truly is collusion, then that is a problem. But I really doubt that it's with specifically the Russian government. And if he's meeting with Putin, I mean, to me, I don't really see that as specifically a problem. It all seems true in all cases but his. I don't know. I mean, for me, I've always have been withholding of any actual, like, accusations or whatever until things have actually come out. I think I've been fairly consistent. Whenever something comes out, you know, I will look at it, you know, and check out whatever, you know, reasoning for the indictments or whatever new facts or whatever come out in investigation and shit. And some of it's, you know, relevant, and some of it is just more bullshit, meaningless, you know, tabloid here, and put this on the mainstream, you know, 24/7 news outlet, you know, to talk about for like half the day. You know, that type of shit, you know, with Russia and stuff. I worry what he'd say next. I mean, I'm not even like, I honestly don't even worry about what he's going to say next, because he's just said so many crazy things. I was worried what he'd say next in the primaries. I've kind of stopped worrying what he'd say next. I mean, unless it's more shit like he did with Twitter, instigating war with Iran, like that all caps immature 12-year-old rage tweet that he did that you would only see at Xbox Live pre-tween Call of Duty player do to like some kid because he got quick scope 360 on the final kill, search and destroy or some shit. Like, damn, like, I mean, no. I mean, that I will actually be surprised with, but I mean, and I will worry about. But with this, like, fake news, corrupt witch hunt or whatever, it's like, heard it before. But I mean, I'm sure he'll find a new little pet nickname to put out for like some new person or some new thing that's going to come out, and it might be a little clever, it might not, and I'll probably think it'll be cringy or whatever in the end anyway, so it'll just be like, I just don't care. Like, you know, at this point, you know, I'm just waiting for, like, the whole big shit to go down. Like, I'm just waiting for the whole, you know, I'm, like, right now we're watching the fuse to the dynamite get shorter and shorter. I'm waiting for the bang. You know, I'm stepping back a little bit, and I'm going to watch the bang. I'm going to watch the bang. I'm going to take a few feet, sit back in my chair, drink my beer, and watch the explosion. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people all getting all up in that shit, looking at the fuse, like, look at all this shit. But I'm stepping back. I'm like, you guys, there's an explosion at the end of this, and y'all want to be in the face of that? I mean, for us, none of us are literally in the face of it, but, I mean, you know, for, you know, the administration, for the investigators, for the Washington and shit, it's a bomb. It's a dynamite that's going to explode in their face, and that will be a fucking gold mine of shit like you'll never believe. And I don't even know what I could expect from that. I don't know what to expect. Like, that's what I mean. I'm just going to sit back and watch at that point. But the bang could be the Lambaba thing we detonated a few months ago online. I mean, I don't know what it could be. I feel like it'll be definitely tied with this investigation. It'll be tied with, you know, something related to obstruction of justice. It'll probably be tied with obvious corruption. But, I mean, a lot of the corruption that gets called out with this investigation and shit is typical corruption. I mean, you can get the same shit with Obama, same shit with Bush, same shit with Hillary, same shit with Bill, I mean, you can go down that line. I mean, you eventually can probably stop going down the line and, you know, making case where, okay, this guy is genuine. But there's a pretty good line before that really happens. Like, I would probably say that line, like, there's, like, this outlier. Like, I would say Carter's this outlier in this line, and then I think FDR is probably the last, like, in this fat line of just, you know, corrupt politicians that have, you know, ran for office and are president and have just done favors and have slowly, over time, weaseled it in. And it's just, oh, you can see this progression. I mean, there's been little heights and spikes of it getting worse, but, you know, then it'll phase out for a little bit, like, and things will calm down for a bit, and then it gets worse again. And it's been like that for a while, and it's just been kind of consistently on a decline with that situation. I mean, three of the top billionaires of this country own more wealth than half of this country. Major problem, a fundamental problem with that. And you forget it has gone beyond Mueller. Cohen and is under FBI investigation and probably has dirt on Trump. Yeah, I mean, it really, you know, it does go beyond Mueller. It definitely does. And, you know, but then it will be close to 2020 anyway. But if he goes, we have Pence. Yeah, it'll be close to 2020, that's true, but wouldn't it work that Pence would serve? I guess no. Okay, so I guess he would serve just the rest of the term of the president, you know, that he was serving as vice president as. So, okay, yeah, you know, yeah, okay, so all right. Because for some reason in my head I was thinking, wait, if vice president gets enacted, he gets like a term. But now I'm thinking about it, I think he just finishes up the term. But then he gets his re-election and he gets his chance. So, hey, you got like literally like 2 weeks to do policy. Here, get re-elected. It's like, okay, good luck with that. I mean, unless people, for some reason, generally just trust you with just the 2 weeks of control, essentially. But actually, I saw this video of somebody who did the Halo theme over Pence making like the speech for the Space Force, and honestly, it was probably the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. But what made it worse was the comments, dude. Every comment was just so pretentious and so just ridiculous. I really need lots of weed soon. I know, my friend. I know. I try. I think the DEA confiscates him every time. But I try. I've tried. But it doesn't work. I wonder if marijuana was legalized federally, would that mean we can like ship it and stuff internationally, and we can like order it online now and stuff?
Not internationally.
Well, no, I didn't mean internationally. I meant like, you know, like if I wanted to buy like a shop that was able to ship across different states, you know, from Colorado, for example, I could buy some and it could get shipped to like this address or whatever.
It should be a possibility, yeah.
I mean, I don't see why not, you know. I mean, you know, we already have like distribution trucks and shit.
Legal, you can
if it's yeah, I mean, you know, if you can order alcohol online, what's stopping you from doing that? If it would be, yeah, I mean, you can buy Kratom online. I mean, there's stores where you can get Kratom. I mean, some stores, depending on where you live, you might have to find different ways to buy it, because there's a few states that have it illegal, but most states don't have it illegalized or legalized technically. It's just kind of just kind of there in the void. It's something that isn't legal but not illegal. It's just decriminalized essentially. It's just that thing there. Can't ship boo-e to every state. It'd be like liquor though. Oh, can't ship booze to every state. That's true too. I mean, because there's still like places that do dry counties and shit. There's still some states that restrict a lot with alcohol distribution and shit. So I mean, like, I know there's straight up dry counties in Texas and stuff, which I think is appalling and awful, and I feel so bad for those people in those dry counties. But it's just like, and there's some places that straight up aren't open on Sunday, which is like, but a lot of people's days off are on Sunday. Why, you know, what if I want a burger from your establishment, you know? And I want like a Baconator or like a bacon burger or some shit from your establishment, from your local, you know, establishment, but you're closed now? It's like, shame. It's supposed to be open all day. I mean, if it's like a family establishment, that's one thing, but like if you're like this big, like I know Chick-fil-A is like closed on Sundays, but it's just like, you're this like big old like, you know, big old franchise now. I mean, there's people who like die for your Chick-fil-A on like a Sunday or something. Like, what if they want to like have a little regimen? You know, they want like a little Chick-fil-A on a Sunday, but they just can't do it. It's like
on Saturday. You're never open on Sunday.
Because PA used to be a non-ship state until the last few years. Oh damn. Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. There's states out there that restrict, you know, distribution and stuff. I mean, even though they can't criminalize it again because supremacy clause, but I mean they can try to restrict it. I mean, even though some states, like, you know, like our states who legalize marijuana, there's obviously been compromises to restrict a lot of it. Like California is a great example of that. Even though they recreationally legalized it, they rushed it for one, and also I felt like they compromised too much with naysayers and like people who were against the bill and shit, and or didn't want certain policies pushed through, or else they wouldn't pass it. So I mean, you know, California was just kind of a little clusterfuck of a shit show with that. But, you know, with Colorado and Washington and Oregon, I mean, we've kind of have ours ironed out. You know, all of our tweaks and shit are, you know, out at this point. And Oregon has a surplus of weed. Colorado has a surplus of money because of the weed. I mean, you know, so, you know, there's only been benefits so far because of it. God, it's 5 a.m. here, and I'm thinking about a big, juicy Angus burger with all toppings on a brioche bun. Damn, now you're making me think about that, dude. What the hell? You just, like, got all detailed with that. Now you're making me think about it, dude. Well, I do have, like, the smoked andouille chicken sausages I might want. I think I'll put this in the fridge for a little bit. I have a little bit left in here. I think I'll have a little chicken sausage with that. Because I think that will go good with it, actually. But 5 a.m. here. Yeah, what time is it? If it's like 5 a.m., it has to be like... Yeah, it's near 2 now. Yeah, but... Yeah, it's a little 2.5 hour. We had a nice, you know, like, interesting conversations and shit. Better than last time. I mean, went on for like 50 minutes, and I only had like one person for like half of it. And I was like, damn. Well, you win some, you lose some with the streams. Like, some days, it's, you know, you got really great things going on, and some streams, you just got like one person the entire time. Or if just, like, no one for, like, half of it. It's just like, well, now I have to sit here and make something of it at least, you know, because I don't delete these unless they're literally that awful, but, I mean, I don't really see the need to do that. I got the noodles for your bacon bake video. Oh, shit, really? Oh, you're gonna try out that weird bean and noodle thing that I did back then. I'll have to check that out too, see how that how I made it, because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot how I made it.
You made it while you were high, huh?
Well, it was called the Bacon Bake. I mean, it was just like something I made as an experiment, and I thought I'd just share it, you know, back when I was doing weed tubing and stuff, you know, smoking weed, you know, for whatever. I mean, I guess I'm still technically doing it, but the content's more derived on other things now. So I mean, but this, I mean, at this point, this is just, you know, like whatever. So. You know, it's just... I definitely need to get a new piece, though. So, I know when I get a new piece, I'll probably have a stream featuring that shit, you know, talking about it. But, you know, right now, you know, I know it's not, like, the main basis of the content now. But, you know, every now and then I'll probably have news about it or talk about it, you know. You know, sometimes if there's just nothing else, you know, of topic, or I just came back from the dispensary, I'm like, I just got this cool new shit. You know, I just finally went in there for the first time, and they got all this stuff, and I got all these things, because it's like, holy crap, you know, it's like a candy land in there.
I'm going to bed.
Going to bed?
Yeah.
Alright.
Good night, guys. Peace out.
And you have a good night yourself. So I'm probably going to wrap it up, too. Sometimes I just sit and watch the best of Ignore. I'll have to, you know, derive, like, a best... Maybe not the best stuff, but like a highlight. He says you too. But, I'll definitely have to do some highlights, because I know I've had a few good rants before. There's just been a few good funny moments. There's been, you know, good points and like thought-provoking things I've said before. You know, or at least I think I have. I mean, you know, there's definitely a lot of different little highlights I can make up. I mean, I don't think they'll be like nothing like huge or whatever. It'll probably be like a little 20-minute like little compilations or something like that. Or depending how long it is, I might just make them like individual little segments. Like if there's like this 20-minute or 30-minute rant I did, I'll probably just cut that rant alone out and then just upload the rant in itself and just leave that. I mean, I wouldn't like cut that out of a stream and leave that. I mean, I'll just have it separate and upload that as a highlight. So, I mean, you know, there's different little things I'm thinking about. I'm just, you know, a lot of it is I'm waiting for the desktop to come through, but so I can actually do more editing and shit. But, you know, I can still at least do some of these pre-recorded videos, so I just need to probably do that tomorrow or something. Maybe even tonight. Do like a little 30-minute one or something on a concept. Was that Tyler in your gas mask video? I did a couple of them. I think I did like 2 or 3, and I know he was in like one of them or 2 of them. It sort of looked like him. Yeah, probably was. I know I did at least 2 of them. I might have done 3, and I know Tyler was in one of them. So yeah, you might have seen him in one of them. I think it was the thumbnail for one, and I was in another, and I was by myself, and I was obviously the thumbnail of it, so, yeah. Skip the bop, boosh! He seems not to smoke anymore. He doesn't. He actually doesn't. And I don't understand it, to be honest. He says he just doesn't want to, not in the mood for it, but it's just like, you're like literally never in the mood for it. You're just like, if you just don't smoke anymore, then just say you don't smoke anymore. He seems to really take it in the mask one. Oh yeah, dude. Well, I don't know if you're gonna see that again out of him. Like, I really don't know if I'm ever gonna get Tyler high as fuck again like that. You know, I mean, I might be able to get him like a little buzzed or maybe like drunk, you know, with like, you know, alcohol and shit, but that's probably like the most he will ever get, because I mean, him and I will like have a couple of drinks together every now and then, you know, but that's about it. I mean, he doesn't really smoke anymore. He says he'll do just CBD stuff, but it's just like, first of all, never gonna have any of that stuff because I don't. He seemed very happy. Oh yeah, I mean, whenever he got high, he definitely got like this stupid happy face on him. I mean, he wouldn't get like stupid happy, but he will always have like that stupid happy face, like this, like that face all the time. So, or he'll just be like that, you know. So you know, you get that stoner face, you know. It's just like we all got our stoner face. Like, it was pretty much like that, you know. He had his super happy, enthusiastic stoner face. I can't think straight. Not all of us. Get high enough, you can get a stoner face. If you get high enough, yeah. I mean, every now and then oh, now I'm sad. Oh. I mean, dude, like, I guarantee you, like, I know you might be sad, but when you do eventually get some, and you do smoke it, and you get high off of it, that stoner face of, like, it's gonna be, like, so all over your face, you, like, I swear you probably won't stop giggling about it. You're like, you know, I guarantee you, dude. I mean, that's probably just my optimism streak popping out there for a second, but, I mean, yeah, you know, like, you know, I mean, since it's, like, illegal there, I just don't know, like, I think I want to be on a stream of yours. Well, hey, I mean, whenever I get guests and stuff, I mean, I'm going to have a Discord voice chat, you know, for, like, 2 or 3 people, like, with me, and then, what the fuck? And then, you know, like 1 or 2 other guests and stuff, so, who might be on Discord. So, I mean, when you get set up on Discord and stuff, I don't know if you have one or not, but you can get one on, I think they have an app on the phone and a web browser app, too. You can get both. I don't know if you have a computer or not, but if you do, I mean, that's where you can get it on. But, yeah, but, you know, that works. Skype, too. I mean, I'll get that set up once I can work out, you know, the personal tweaks and bugs of, you know, the streams and shit, I'll see about getting guests on and everything. And see about getting it. Already installed it. Dope. I mean, I know one thing Carl is right about, like, if I want to definitely expand more with this idea I got going on, Discord is definitely a way to open up that way. It's just that I don't know what type of channels I can get to, because I guess you have to get yourself invited into them. Carl dropped me in your setup. Cool. It's not complete. I mean, I'm still learning the ways to Discord. I'll probably, you know, find a, you know, tutorial online or something about that to work it all out. But, you know, I'm working the works. I want to get like a little, like, because I know with the Deep Fat Fried Discord, they got like a little mini game set up with one of the bots in one of the chats, and they got like all sorts of other things going on. So I mean, you know, I'm not looking to like get like a very complicated fucking thing going on. Just something simple, you know, just something easy for everyone to just go and check out at. See, the bitch does love me a little. He does. He gave you some he gave some sympathy points. That was good. I talked some good sense into him. Made sure. Pussycat. Oh shit, my phone's about to die. Damn. Technology's been dying on me quick. And I think it might be due to the smoke and shit, man. I don't know. I've actually noticed that a lot of people's cars have stalled out due to the smoke because there's been a lot of AAA being called, dude. Like, I'm pretty sure my store alone had, like, over the course of my shift, which is about 8 hours, was, I'm pretty sure at least 5 AAA tow trucks were in the parking lot dealing with people's broken down vehicles. And on my down the street or where I walk to go to work, like straight up, there's at least like 2 others throughout that day, or at least during the course of me like going to work, going to lunch, and then getting off work and stuff. And, well, to home to go from lunch and then going back to work, you know, after lunch and shit. So, I mean, seems like the West Coast is burning. It is a little bit. Like, you know, the record fires last year in California, guess what? These new fires, they're record-breaking. So, that means they're literally worse than the ones last year. Or the ones that were the last wildfires that happened, which I think were earlier in the year. And those ones are contained, but that doesn't mean they're gone and they're, you know, wiped out as a fire. They're still fires. They're just contained. And these other ones are not contained at all. And the Dalles are burning here in Oregon. Other parts of Oregon are burning. I think Washington is burning a little bit. Canada is even burning a little bit, I think. I mean, I really don't know if it is or not, but I think it is. I'm pretty sure. And Greece has been having fires recently. Like, how foolish is it to say that? No climate change. There ain't none of that going on. No, we don't got an impact on the ecosystem at all. Nope, not at all. Nope, sure, nope. I don't say it. So you'll have fire or water to choose from as sea levels rises. To be honest, I definitely would prefer water because I do love swimming. But, you know, doesn't mean it's good. I mean, it really does fucking concern me. I mean, just how we distribute water, especially in California, I mean, it's pretty bad. Like, why do you think California's been in like a decade-long drought, and before all these fires and shit, they recently, you know, were okay. But then the fires came in, and then that drought sort of came right back, now didn't it? Because things are burning. Swimming with no shore isn't good. Well, we're in a valley, so we have shores, but the Willamette River will be more like the Willamette Basin. It'll be like this little valley basin shit instead of this river. So, I mean, or it'll just be one fat motherfucking river. I mean, like, either or, it's not going to be much of a valley here anymore. It's going to be this, like, this fucking sea of some sort. And, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, Oregon's already been underwater before. I mean, we're fairly new land, but to just be underwater again already, that's not good. I mean, like, you know, we can at least adapt to the negative problems that we already have been having, but then we'll just move you to Philly. We have a garage, lol. I mean, I could just move to the Cascades. I mean, literally 30 minutes east, and I will be high enough to be out of sea level range. And I think I'm actually high enough right now. If I was even 15 feet of water were to rise, I'd be okay here. I'm on top of a little hill where I'm at. But downtown Milwaukee, you know, if I go down the hill, I don't know about that. they might get floods during the fall and winters, but during the summer they might be okay. But downtown Milwaukee might not be downtown Milwaukee anymore. I think they might have to move. But yeah, if that were to be the case, I think downtown Milwaukee might have to move where I'm nearby, actually. Have all those shops move up top of the hill next to me. So I'll be just a big fucking, infrastructure plan that the whole city would have to, like, invest in. Oh my god. I checked, and it's mostly water around you. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm literally inside a watershed. I mean, I'm inside the Springwater watershed, Johnson Creek watershed area, which is in the Springwater Corridor watershed. I mean, if you want to think about it, the whole Willamette Valley in itself is a fat, gigantic watershed. And, and there's water everywhere. Like, inside all these mountains and all these hills here, and even on the hill I'm probably on top of right now on this land, is water. Everywhere here is water, clay, mud, and silt and sand. So, the land here morphs and changes a lot over time. I mean, there's a lot of water for us to get here. I mean, when it comes to water, I don't really have to worry about it because there's plenty of it here. I mean, it might get dry as fuck, but I got a river right down the road that I can go swim in for a little bit. I mean, but that doesn't solve a problem. It doesn't solve the problem that's going on, So, I mean, we can adapt to these changes, but we need to adapt globally. I mean, we could all make our personal adaptations and changes, but we'll send it to California. Honestly, at this rate, I think that would be a good idea. Like, California obviously has very awful poor distribution of water, and they are not responsible enough to do it themselves. So they need help, with their water crisis. And, it's not just California, too. It's places like Flint, Michigan. It's places like, which, honestly, their water's just poisoned. It's not even that they don't have any. It's poisoned. I mean, but other places just straight up don't have water, or it is literally poisoned, so they need to get clean water. And the fucked up part about this is that a lot of the water we get is privatized. That's a really, to me, I see that as like a moral problem right there, because water is a fundamental basis of human life to continue on, and yet, you can't have it unless you buy it. You need some quiche, in order to live. To me, that is a major problem to the system. A lot of older cities have old pipes. Yeah, like FDR era pipes, because a lot of the New Deal, like, we never had a big infrastructure project plan like that since FDR, and we need one badly. You want to know why our infrastructure gets a grade of D+? Right there. Flint, Michigan, Portland, Oregon, Detroit, Michigan, Los Angeles, California. Go down the list of all these places that are kind of crumbling a little bit. I mean, Portland is actually, doing plans and stuff to build upon it. But my phone's actually just about to die, so if I cut off, I'm sorry, but just letting you know. But, I mean, most of these places, New York City, I mean, Baltimore, all these places that are crumbling. And what the fuck are we showing for it right now? Bombing the fuck out of random people in the Middle East? Great. Nice. Why don't we show it by, like, hey, why don't we get a Green New Deal plan to, revamp this infrastructure that we have? Even our water has a horrible chlorine aftertaste. I mean, we have chlorine in the Portland water, but our water here where I live comes off of a different water line, so I don't really taste the chlorine in our water. But why is there chlorine? That's a chemical. That's pretty harmful to the body, is it not? I think it is. I mean, fluoride is like neurotoxic, I think, and also lead is very much neurotoxic. Have you seen what lead does to a man? Watch interview on TYT from the Flint, Michigan crisis, or Jordan Sheraton specifically, who interviews citizens who are affected from the Flint, Michigan crisis, because he interviews the literal people who live there, and look at their problem, like, look at their mental state. Look at their mental health and tell me that it doesn't fuck with your brain a little bit. I mean, when I saw the town hall where Jordan Sheraton was recording all these Flint, Michigan residents talking with their town hall representatives, and half of them had like fucking neurological problems because of the water they had. They were stuttering. They couldn't speak. They were like, they couldn't get their mind across. Don't they do it to kill other bacteria? Yeah, but honestly, I think there's other methods that are far more healthier that you can kill bacteria with. And I'm pretty sure there's organic ways you can do it too. I mean, this isn't bacteria-wise, but this is insect at least. But I know with chrysanthemum plants, oh man, god damn it.